Rolling, bro. Oh, yeah, we're rolling, dude.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say was I think the best podcasts are when people just authentically having a conversation. So
Yeah,
there's
dude.
no goal to be funny. There's no goal to like sound thoughtful.
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
had a lisp.
There's no goal. It's not thoughtful. There's no sense. Bro, I did have one. I have one note that hopefully this takes us down an avenue of nonsense. I remember we had a conversation, dude. It was like one of the most interesting conversations I've ever had about how, like, historically in human history, the jester has probably been the alpha because the jesters and now are the alphas, dude. Like, it's crazy, man. I don't know.
I guess, yeah, because I was trying to explain it actually to somebody at work, and I don't think it made any sense.
Yeah.
So I think it would be fun to go down that path a little bit. Do you remember how we even started with that thought?
It's going to be hard to articulate, but it was basically like, I think we were talking about Pete Davidson.
Oh, yeah.
And how, like, he pulls, like, the most, like, beautiful women on earth, and he's, like, not, like, super handsome. He's not an ugly guy, but he's not, like, super handsome. And, like, he's, like, the alpha of, like, what girls want, I guess. And it's, like, a lot of funny dudes have, like, pulled really good-looking women. And if you're funny, it's interesting because, like, if you're a good-looking guy, right? Say you're, like, who's someone super good-looking? Like, I don't know. Tom Holland, but he's, like, 5'4", but...
Yeah.
But, like, so, I don't know, dude.
Chris
Evans.
Chris Evans, yeah.
His tall ass. Alright, if you're 6'4", right, and you pull a girl, a really hot girl, dudes are gonna hate you. They're gonna be like, oh, he's not all that. Just, like, naturally, like, the natural instinct in dudes is just to hate. Let's be honest. But if you're, like, funny, and you pull a girl, like, you have no enemies, because dudes think you're cool because you're funny, you make them laugh, and then all the girls like you because you're funny. So it's like, you're kind of, like, the top of the food chain, in a way. Like, the top of the social food chain, because, like, you have... The guys like you, and the girls like you. And, like, we took it to, like, a historical context of, like, the jesters are probably, like, the most privileged people because, like, the kings always needed somebody to make them laugh, so they were the safest. They're not going to let them starve. They're not going to let them get, like, eaten or killed in war. It's just like, dude, that's... A jester's, like, the best thing to be.
Yeah, because in times of peace, the jester is living in the castle with the king.
Yeah.
And that comes with certain privileges.
Yeah.
But then in times of war, well, I guess the jester could be a danger at times of war, but not in as much danger as the king. Like, I could see somebody just invading the castle and just only wanting to kill the king.
Yeah.
But you're the jester, you're left with, I don't know.
Dude, I don't even know if I articulated that very well.
No, you did.
Okay,
I'm, like,
like,
trying to add to it, and
yeah.
I don't think I really can, because I think that you said it.
Yeah, it's hard to describe. At the time, I remember, yeah.
Well, I think the other thing that we had talked about was you and I, even though you're 5 years older than me, no, you're not 5 years. That would make you 29.
I think I'm 4.
How old are you?
27.
Okay, you're 3 years older than me.
3 years older.
Yeah, because I'm about to turn 24 next month.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, 3 years.
And both of us, even though we were in the same grade and didn't really know each other up until, like, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
After high school.
I mean, we did.
We knew each other, but we weren't
friends.
friends.
We weren't I would say that. We weren't friends, but we knew each other.
Yeah. We both weren't the hottest guy.
Okay, fuck you.
Hey, I remember you said
that.
Dude. Okay,
all
right, I'll speak for myself.
I'm just kidding, dude. Those were my words. That's what I said.
Yeah, you did say that.
Yeah.
You're making me look like a dick.
No, I'm just kidding.
Growing, like, always in school, I remember thinking I was so much cooler than, or I guess better looking than it. No, not even really. I just knew that I could get in certain doors because of humor.
Yeah.
That other dudes had to get in using their looks.
Yeah.
And so that, in a lot of ways, was good and not a ton of bad.
Yeah, dude.
And that's where the jester thing comes in. It's, like, mostly just good for you.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I don't want to sound like a cocky bastard, but, like, usually if I've, like, gone after a girl, I've usually been able to get a date. And I don't think it's because I'm, like, good looking or, like, a stud or anything. I think it's just because, like, if you're just, like, funny, dude, like, I think I'm funny, so it's like girls like that, I guess. I don't know, it's interesting. It's like there's, like, all these, like, alpha con dudes that, like, teach how to get girls and how to be a stud and how to have confidence. It's like, dude, just be funny. That's it. Like, that's it.
That's the thing too. I think just also be yourself.
Yeah. Unless you're not funny.
Yeah, that's dangerous to tell people. Like,
I'm just kidding.
What I said is
I'm
dangerous
just
to tell people because some people, when they're themselves, they're weird.
Yeah, that's true.
But even then, like, I think of a lot of people in high school that I would have called weird, and I definitely did call people weird.
Yeah.
And I realized the reason they were weird is because they were trying to be something they weren't.
Yeah, that's probably true. Because it's hard to, like, label someone as a weird as, like, off-putting if they're, like, genuine. Because I know people that are very monotone and mundane, but genuine, and they're still really fun to be around. Because they're just themselves. They're still funny in, like, their own way. So I think it's, like, human nature to have banter, like, to joke. But not everyone's, like, out there, like, making the whole group laugh. But some of the people that don't do that are still super funny. Like, I don't know, it's interesting. Dude, I want to talk about, a little bit about Fremont, too, bro. Like, the dynamics of, like, things that are unique where we grew up. I think one thing was okay. It's hard because I'm trying to talk, but I don't want to say names.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you edit these like is in depth much, but
but like if I say this, and God forbid somebody from my graduating class hears this, is going to be like, "Oh, you're talking about this person," and it's like, but like, I'm just gonna say there's a lot of like funny lies that happen.
Lies?
Funny lies out of, like, guilt.
That you told?
No, that just people in general tell. Like, say someone hooks up with a girl. Oh, I wanted to tell a story so bad.
Oh, okay.
Fuck it, I don't even care. I'll say it. There's this individual that, he's never going to hear this podcast. I don't even talk to him anymore. And if he does...
And who cares?
And if he does and he hates me, who cares?
I've heard that it's healthy to just say what you want to say.
You know, you're right.
And, like, it actually psychologically makes you a healthier person.
That's actually true. I'm going to say it.
Say it.
But, like, first of all, there's no chance he listens to this podcast. And because we weren't that good of friends. And if he does, we were teammates. We were teammates for Fremont. Because we played basketball together at Fremont. But anyways, there's this, I'm just, like, making it more specific. He lives in Hooper now. I'm just kidding. I don't know where he lives. But, anyways, he got a girl pregnant.
Okay, that narrows it down. He was in your grade?
Allegedly. Maybe a grade younger. Maybe my grade. Maybe a grade older. Who knows? But anyways, I mean, I know, but... and this was one of the funniest things to me, bro, because he got this girl pregnant. And this girl's... They were both pretty popular. Like...
I think I already know who you're talking about.
Yeah, like, the girl was a cheerleader, like... And he was pretty popular, and, like... We had common friends, but him and I weren't friends. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And she would tell us, like, in the senior commons or whatever, what is it called? I forgot what it was called. This area where all the seniors would talk, and the cool juniors, and actually cool sophomores were there, too.
Like the senior bench.
Yeah. She would tell everybody that they didn't have sex.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
And I heard her say it, and I was like... At the time, I believed it, because I'm like, yeah, maybe, you know, it could happen. But then I'm like, dude, there's no way, dude.
Yeah.
And it's funny that, like, that was out of pure guilt. Because that was out of pure, like, fear. Dude, like, nowhere else in the world are people terrified of, like, people knowing they've been banged or whatever. Like, especially girls, because the girls are, like, seen as, like, lesser at Fremont if they've, like, even, like, kissed a lot of guys. Which is messed up, but, like, that's just what it was. That's just what the environment that they create over there. And it was just funny because it was like they're willing to go so far off a lie, like an unbelievable lie, just out of, like, I don't know. It was just funny.
Yeah, I heard
like that
too. Like, I was way younger and I heard that, and she had a sister that was my age.
Yeah.
And I remember, and then, like, I don't know if it was right for me to be joking and, like, gossiping. I know it wasn't, but
it was Caitlin Anderson. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I made that name up.
I'm like, I was thinking of the wrong person.
I don't even know who Caitlin Anderson is, but yeah.
Oh man, yeah, it's hard because even that.
I know,
There's
dude.
another name that came to my mind that I was like, oh, I would have believed it because of this other person. I
Dude,
know.
there are so many scenarios like that. Not even just that scenario. There's a lot. But yeah, keep going. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, I brought that story up around one of her, I guess who was one of her friends, and she like got so mad at me for saying it and saying I was like making that up. I was like, I feel like I've heard that from everyone that knows them.
Oh no, I was there. I heard it with my own ears.
Yeah, that makes me feel
like
that makes me feel.
I promise you didn't make it up. I literally was there.
Okay, I have a question for you. Do you feel like you can tell when someone's lying to you, even if it's the smallest little dumbest lie? Just looking in their eyes, like
It depends on the person. Because I would say 90% of the time I can. But dude, some people are just such good liars, bro. Like some people are just psychos.
I mean, I guess that's true. Like, why I wouldn't know if someone was lying if I didn't know. So
Yeah.
like yeah.
But I think most people like give themselves away.
Yeah.
Why did somebody like lie to you recently? You just had to.
Well, I was just talking to someone at work about this because there was something weird going on, and he caught her in a lie, but he knew she was lying before he even caught her. And I feel like that happens a lot where people, they kind of give themselves away. And so in that situation, when you're younger and that story happened, did you feel like you knew she was lying, or did she sell
The thing
it?
is, like, I was such a gullible kid. I, like, initially was like, yeah, I mean, it could happen.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit of, like, you know, we're going to get medical. A little bit of semen could, like, drip into her if they were cuddling. Because I always gave people, I still do this as an adult. I always give people the benefit of the doubt. I think most people, like, you have to earn their trust. And for me, you have to, like, earn my distrust. Like, I just initially trust people.
Yeah.
Which is bad and good. I don't know. But, like, I did believe her. Then I really thought about it. And my friends around me were like, you know that's bullshit, right? I was like, yeah. I get it.
Yeah, it's... I feel like, especially growing up here, too, we don't know anything about sex.
Yeah.
And so if that would have happened in the reason I feel like when I was your age, when I was a sophomore or even senior,
Yeah.
and I was hearing about that stuff, like I knew that it didn't happen because people had joked about that specific situation.
Yeah.
But if it was happening for the first time for my age group, I would have probably believed it too because of how little I knew about sex and like education and stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's like another thing that is so unique about living here.
Yeah.
That first of all, someone would have to make that up.
Yeah.
To defend themselves.
And context, her dad was a very, let's say, high up person in the church. I don't know if people listening to this, like, they don't know what a stake president is.
I think at this point, if anyone listening to this knows this person, they know who we're talking about.
Dude,
they know we're talking about them.
I feel like a bad person, but it's like, whatever. Who cares?
I mean, I think it's one thing to, like... I think we're doing the right thing, which is not saying their names.
No, yeah, that's true. And it's almost like, right, as an adult, I kind of feel empathy for that situation. Like, the fact that you're so scared you have to say a lie you know no one was going to believe. It's also funny, too.
Yeah.
It's like why would you even, like, say that? Like, you know no one believes it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I was thinking about... Coulter and I were at In-N-Out the other day. And this kid went through the drive-thru that thinking back, like, he was one of the top football players, and from my perspective, he was talking to, like, tons of girls.
Yeah.
And I thought if it were to come to, like, who's the king, basically, I would have said it was him. And so, being, like, the jester, I don't know if that sounds pretentious, but, like, kind of dealing with things with humor. Maybe I had some insecurities, like, oh, I wish I had his spot.
Yeah.
So I would make fun of him when he would do something cringy. And
oh, yeah.
I remember thinking, like, yeah, he has it all. Like, I'm punching up type of a thing.
Yeah.
And now looking back, I realized that a lot of the stuff he was doing was because he also was going through stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was, like, a popular kid, but, like, a lot of the stuff he did, lying or trying to act cool or, like, even probably being good at sports was to compensate for hardships that he had in his life.
Yeah.
And seeing him at the drive-thru, I was like, oh, man. Like, I basically bullied him.
Dude.
And I didn't even... Like, I thought it was okay because he was, like, popular or something. And now it's like... Yeah, like looking back,
You don't think you can bully somebody that you consider like higher up than you in the social food chain. No, I feel you. It's interesting, bro. There's so many kids that I like regret bullying. Like, there's this kid there's this kid in my ward. I'm not gonna name him, obviously, but like, this was like when I started like, kind of like, learning how to talk to people, being like 15. Like when I started learning kind of how to banter.
Mm-hmm.
I would just call him Phyllis off The Office. I don't know why.
Was he like big or something?
Not really.
Huh.
I mean, he was like a little chubby, but he wasn't like. You don't look at him and your first thought was like, oh, he's a big kid.
Oh, he's Phyllis from The Office.
Yeah. I called him Phyllis because of his personality.
Oh, okay.
Because he was such like a. How do I say this? He was like a worried kid, and he was very like nerdy. And I also like was nerdy. I had no friends. Like this was like ninth grade, and every time we'd get together in like the young men's group of the church, it's literally called Young Men's for anyone listening that isn't a member. I would just call him Phyllis, dude. I refused to call him by his actual name. I just called him Phyllis, and he told me once, like 2 years after, he's like, "Hey, that really hurts my feelings. Can you not do that?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, man." So I stopped, but like I did it for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I thought it was funny. The thing is, like, the reason what enabled me to do it is because I would say it and everyone would laugh. Even the young men's leaders would laugh. Like, oh, Phyllis, that's funny. He wears glasses. And, like, it enabled me to just joke around. Like, oh, you would say that, Phyllis. Super uncreative, but, like, I don't know.
Do you think that...
I feel bad for it. I still feel bad for it.
Do you think that, because you said that you thought that you yourself were, like, a
nerdy...
Dude. Was it a place of insecurity or
yes, what? Pure insecurity. It was pure out of like, oh, I'm not the nerdiest kid here. It was like at like almost survival. Like almost like I don't want to be the bottom of this food chain. I want to be like at least in the middle, bottom middle. But like I don't. But like and then eventually I was like, obviously not like the bottom anymore because I learned how to like talk.
Yeah.
Because dude, I didn't know how to talk. I think it was part of it was like I didn't learn English till I was like 6 years old. But like I didn't know how to talk to people. But like I don't know, dude. And I feel bad because I did that to like one other kid in like my church. And then now we're cool though because I see him now. I saw him recently at like a young men's like because our ward has like reunions. I saw him like 2 years ago at one of those, and we're cool. Like,
do I know him? Do you think?
Yeah, you do.
Describe him.
Maybe. I'll mouth it.
Okay.
And see if you know who it is.
Do it again. I was laughing. Oh, no, I don't know him.
You don't know him?
No.
Okay.
You did whisper it, though.
Dang it. It was Kyle Bagley.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me type it.
No, I don't know him.
But did you hear what I said?
Yeah, no, I heard the name.
Okay. Yeah, but...
I never heard of him.
Yeah, he's a really nice kid.
Must have been a real
dude.
loser.
Like, gosh, dude. No, I mean, who cares? I mean, he's not going to listen to this. Realistically, it's just me listening to this. Yeah.
So this is actually... I don't even know if I want to say this because I'm like almost pretty sure that this person will listen to this.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you can't just like... I mean, if you don't want to say it, you don't call it.
No, I like want to.
What? Okay, do I know him? Okay.
So I kind of want to tell a story. And I don't know if this is going to end up making me look like an asshole or like a good person. Or not, I'm not, whatever happens, maybe it's just good that I say this and then if these people hear it, then I might go into a really long tangent here.
Do it. Okay.
And I have some questions. Like, I'm curious what your approach would be to handling situations like this from when you were a kid and you feel like you made mistakes in the way you treated people.
Yeah.
And is it your responsibility now to reach out to them and apologize? Or, so I'll tell the story and then.
Okay, then.
So be thinking about those questions.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
Damn, bro, you pre-text a story with questions to ponder.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just admire that. That's cool.
Oh, thanks. So, first of all, I have to acknowledge that it's funny that, like, does this mean we peaked in high school? Like,
No.
We're getting together, we're like, and I do this all the time with like, I just came, the reason I was late, honestly, is because I went to I was at my nephew's T-ball game.
Yeah.
And, I I show up and like half the community I grew up with is there.
Yeah.
So there was a friend, my neighbor, that I like sat around and chatted with. So I got caught up talking to people.
Yeah.
And what are we talking about? High school. I mean, what else are we going to talk about?
I mean, bro, it's a big part of your life. It's just fun to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's not like you can never, once you graduate, you can never talk about it again.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. I mean, it was like this community was most of my life up until like 2 years ago.
Same.
So.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So if I peaked in high school, so be it. All right. I'm going to tell this story and I'm curious.
Who cares if people think you did?
True.
You know you didn't. You know you didn't.
I might have. No, I'm just kidding. People that know me are like, you peaked in high school? Really? You looked at...
That would suck if I peaked in high school, because I was a dumbass. Like, I was like... I didn't have a philosophical thought in my brain.
Yeah. You're like, what's that John Bellion line that's like, do you think I peaked in high school? And she's like, you didn't know me in high school. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No. I don't know.
I was hoping that'd be...
I was going to say, I'm at an all-time low.
Oh, what about this one? The crown of a king doesn't change me. It's amazing.
Dude, I know like
He's
two John Bellion songs.
Oh, dude, he's so cheesy. He wrote a song called Fashion. Do you know Fashion?
Dude, I don't know.
The whole song
I
is
know
about...
All-Time Low, that's it.
Yeah, that was probably his best one. But the whole song of Fashion is about how amazing he is and how it hasn't changed him a bit and how he's still humble.
Hell yeah.
He wrote a whole song about that.
He's sucking his own dick.
Yeah.
While saying he doesn't suck his own dick.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the most alpha thing you can do.
Yeah.
It's boast about yourself, but you boast about how humble you are. So no one can say shit.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, I mean, he's saying he's humble. I don't know.
I would rather have someone that's like that than someone who pretends that, like if they get a compliment, like, honestly, I did this today because someone from my ward from when I was a kid was at the game, and he was like, yeah, like he was one of my young men leaders, and I was telling him, oh, maybe I'm thinking about getting into accounting and stuff like that, and he was saying, oh, one day maybe we'll work together because I know how smart you are. Mm-hmm. And see, even saying that, I'm like,
yeah, dude, okay.
Like I don't want to be that guy that brings up this story like I just did.
Yeah, but who cares?
And say,
bro?
But what I'm trying to say is, I'd rather have someone who's like openly not humble, but like totally owning it, like John Bellion. But
you can pop your shit sometimes. Like, you can boast about good things about yourself. I think that's fine. I think it's like, I don't know why it's demonized so much. Like, you should be able to just like, yeah, I'm good at this. I'm like really smart at this. See, as long as you acknowledge and you're self-aware enough to know what your weaknesses are as well.
Yeah, and I'm making fun of John Bellion, but I actually think he does it the right way because he just like kind of owns it.
He's a musical genius, actually, but yeah, he might be a little corny.
I think he's a goofball.
Dude, honestly, like, I used to have like the worst self-esteem problems when I was like 13, 12. I like couldn't talk myself up ever.
Yeah.
But like, I think when I was 14-ish, 15, something shifted. And this might sound cheesy, but like a big reason of it, bro, a big reason I like kind of developed confidence was because of Kanye, dude.
Really?
I was listening to a lot of Kanye, and if you hear Kanye's music, it's all just him hyping the shit out of himself. Just him jerking himself off. Just every song. And it's all things that are like, it's all things he accomplished. It's not all things that are like, it's hard to describe. Like, it's all matter of fact. Mm-hmm. It's not things that you could debate he didn't do. It's all matter of fact. It's all just like, yeah, I won a Grammy. He's like, I'm the shit. I'm a genius at music. I'm like, it's like, and he also talks about how much he loves himself in every song. And it might be corny, and it is kind of corny after a certain amount of time. You're like, all right, dude, like, stop jerking yourself off. But it, like, listening to it so much, like, instilling in my head how he's the shit, and made me, like, kind of instilled confidence in myself. I'm not saying I developed confidence because of Kanye West.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, dude, it, like, helped. It's weird. That's why, like, that's an artist that means, like, a lot to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kanye's interesting because, I mean, I grew up, the music I listened to was, like, YouTubers, you know, like parody music.
Jeffrey
like,
Dallas.
Yeah, no, Jeffrey Dallas, Rhett and Link.
Rhett and Link.
Yeah.
Jellyfish.
Jellyfish.
And then it's a little cake because I'm on vacation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff I grew up with. So I had really, I was never into Kanye or like hip hop or rap or anything like that.
Yeah.
But the other day, I've like gotten more into it since my mission.
Yeah.
And I was listening to like a ton of Kanye stuff. And just for the record, I guess, like I know Kanye has said super anti-Semitic things.
Oh yeah,
and stuff like that. And so like
he's not sane.
Yeah, I'm not putting him on a pedestal for someone that you should like emulate your life after.
Oh no, absolutely not.
But his art, like, something I deconstructed when I left Mormonism was the idea of a prophet. Mm-hmm. Because there seems to be people that come and affect the world, for better or for worse, because they're being genuine. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they're genuinely doing a lot of crazy, stupid stuff.
Yeah.
But because they are showing their true self, it helps you see that in yourself too. Yeah. Like if an artist shows up and is writing really catchy music, that's okay. Like you're going to listen to it because it's something you can just follow. Yeah. But when an artist is honest about themselves, it helps you feel a little bit more comfortable with what could be awful about yourself too. Yeah. Like Kanye sings about like girls all the time, like women all the time. Oh yeah. And it's like growing up, that's what I hated about hip hop because I was like, oh, they're sexual, and it's true. They objectify women and everything. Like that is true. Oh yeah. But I think that
since like the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah. And if that is objectifying women and helping young men feel comfortable objectifying women, that is bad. That is bad. But yeah. Someone with a mature mind can listen to that music and be like, oh, do I have this quality in myself? And bringing awareness to that fact. And this is what I actually like about Kanye is in almost every album that I've listened to, he's like prophesying his downfall. Yeah. He's talking about women and how they're going to screw him over and like take away his family that he's worked so hard to keep in the face of like temptation as a rich, famous guy. And like that song FML is one of my favorites. I love those songs where he gets so open about all his temptations. Yeah. Because where other artists sing about, I don't know. I mean, I won't go into other artists, but when I listen to songs like that, it's almost like the situation he's in right now, he knew was going to happen the entire time he's been going throughout his career. And that's so interesting to me.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. He talks about it in Life of Pablo, how his whole career is objectified women, and now he has a daughter, and he's like, dang, I don't want anybody to talk about my daughter the way I've talked about other people's daughters. And he's like, dang, I gotta change. And he was like, and he talks about, he's like, if men objectify my daughter, and like, it's like, I deserve it. It's like, I've been objectifying women my whole life. He's like, I don't want them to, but like, it's like, I don't know. It's interesting. And also, bro, my take on Kanye is kind of weird because like, I don't condone anything he said about like death con to Jews and like all that. But I also recognize, dude, that he is mentally ill. Yeah. And when he says stuff, because it's not new, he's been doing this since like 2009. He's been... Yeah. These are manic episodes that he's going through publicly. Have you ever been around somebody that's going through a manic episode? Or heard about them?
Yeah, I've heard about them, yeah.
Dude, they start saying weird things, like, I'm a god, and they're like, I hate Asians are evil, and like, they're like not there. Yeah. They're like not all there. So like, these things Kanye is saying are in the middle of his, because he's bipolar, are in the middle of his manic episodes, and I think holding somebody accountable for what they're saying during a manic episode as a society is a little weird. It's a little unempathetic. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying Kanye's a good guy. I'm not justifying him because he's done some things when he's on his meds that are still like bad. Mm-hmm. Not done things, said things, but it's just interesting how he just like dehumanizes people sometimes just because they're like the billionaires.
Well, I think so. Like even the comment about his daughter, like I have a problem with that comment too because it's like you shouldn't suddenly start valuing, like according to the textbook, you shouldn't suddenly start valuing women because you had a daughter. Yeah. Right. Like your daughter is your daughter. You have a relationship with her, but she is her own.
It's like too late, kind of at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like. Yeah, but everyone learns lessons in their own way, I guess. So, like, I'm not going to fault him for learning the lesson. Yeah. But the other thing I was thinking is, like, we grow up, the word cautionary tale, right? One of the most famous cautionary tales is, like, Pinocchio. So, Pinocchio, the whole story is about he wants to be a real boy. And then people show up and they think, like, oh, there's this moving puppet without strings. That's really interesting. So they put him in the circus, basically. And he likes that fame and stuff, and then more other characters come along and they promise him like, oh, there's this island we can take you to, and there's no consequences for your actions.
Yeah.
You can smoke, you can drink, you can gamble. All of this stuff is so amazing. And I mean, you can just imagine how that story goes. Like, he ends up turning into a donkey, and it's kind of weird, the symbolism, but
Yeah.
long story short, like, if you just indulge all the time, your life's not going to go anywhere because you're just not investing in things that last.
Yeah.
And so that's a cautionary tale. It's like a classic cautionary tale. And it's this weird thing where we can't rely on the same stories forever. There's a reason why the Bible is not connecting to people anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's an old book.
Yeah.
And that's why we have to watch new shows like animes. Or I don't watch anime,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm saying? Like, these new things
You
that...
need to, bro.
I should.
We
But
can talk about anime forever on this pod, but yeah.
oh, we should
Keep
cause,
going.
in a minute, because I have seen a few. But
Yeah.
when you see a new story or a new... Whether someone's writing the story or it's just taking place in front of you like Kanye.
Yeah.
No one's telling you, hey, Kanye is affecting, in my opinion, the reason that he's affected so many people is because his life is a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
To me. And no one's telling you that. And that's where I see a lot of young men specifically getting confused about how to look up to or understand the story of Kanye West. Because it's like, he's done a lot of awesome things with music and artistic expression. And it's really easy to confuse that sort of thing with, that means everything he does is awesome. Like, his opinions are awesome. Mm-hmm. And I should live after that.
Yeah, which young, impressionable men think that. They think he can do no wrong. That he's a god, basically.
Yeah, and I just think, like, for me, I've found a lot of value in listening to Kanye's music, knowing that it's a cautionary tale, not something that I should follow. And... yeah. I don't know, I think it's...
It's not gospel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's so interesting in that way. And, I don't know, because, like, literally, I'm listening to him, I'm like, this guy is I don't believe in prophets, but he is kind of like... He has the characteristics of a prophet where from I'm saying like so many times, Life of Pablo, he talks about how scared he is to lose Kim and his family and his sanity and what he has. Yeah. And so he saw that coming. Yeah. And he's
dude. Yeah, no, it's crazy. Like, he is a genius. He is like a modern day Mozart, but like I'm sure Mozart was a psycho. I'm sure Mozart was out there like being a menace in society. Like, I don't think Mozart was a sane person. Yeah. Like, he's a modern day Mozart, and that, I don't know. But, like, yeah, not everything he says in his music you should take it as gospel. Like, if you're like a 13-year-old kid, you shouldn't just be like, oh, Kanye, whatever he says, I will apply to my life. It's like, no, you should apply some things. Some things he says are really positive, and some things are very, like, damaging. Mm-hmm. Like,
do you feel like... Sorry, I'm, like, kind of hijacking the...
No, change it up.
Taking it in direction. You're the host, so I don't want to... Dude, you have a direction you want to take?
I have no direction, dude. Okay. We can talk about tits and ass after. I don't care.
Oh, I still want to tell you that story, though, about the high school thing.
Oh, yeah.
First, I have a question. Do you feel like, similar to Kanye, you know exactly what's going to bring you down in life? Like, you're on the verge. Maybe you're not as much on the verge of like your life falling apart. Yes. But every time something does go wrong for you, can you look back and be like, I knew that was going to happen, and my brain told me not to do this thing years ago, and I followed the path anyway, and I ended up...
I don't think I do, but in my patriarchal blessing, it does talk about, like, certain weaknesses that I have that I later found out aren't weaknesses. I don't know, it's weird. I found out that I don't have that weakness. In my whole life, I, like, lived my life around, like, I better not mess up in this way, because... this patriarch said... Patriarchal blessing is a thing in the LDS church, real quick, where they, like, basically, like... What would you call it? Like, predict your future, almost?
Yeah, it's like if... Like, in if you got your palm read and they tell you...
Basically.
It's the
your
same
horoscope.
Concept. It's a horoscope.
It's a Mormon horoscope.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Yes.
And, like, you're like this, your characteristics are this, warning, you better not do this, or you'll end up like this. I don't know.
God has these blessings for you in store, so... Specifically, this is how they're going to come to fruition in your life.
Yeah, it's a Mormon horoscope. But my whole life, I based my life around the warnings in there. And I was like, I better not do this. And then, dude, it's like... the patriarch couldn't have been more wrong about me. Like, I don't know. It's interesting. There are some things in there that are like... interesting he knew about me.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, maybe God, like, low-key did, like, some shit. Maybe God low-key popped off. But, like, I don't know. So anyways, that goes with your question. Like, there's, like, certain things that I thought would be my downfall, and then it turns out that they weren't. So it's like, to answer your question, I don't really know, like, what I think would be my downfall. I do think alcohol could be, like, a very bad thing for me, because, like, my dad at one point was, like, drinking a ton. This is before I was even born, but, like, luckily I didn't get to experience it, but, like, he drank a ton. His dad was, like, an alcoholic. And I also have, dude, I have such, like, an addictive personality, bro. Like, when I get hooked on something, whether it's, like, Lego Fortnite or, like, ping pong or, like, dude, I'd like, do it a manic amount of time. Like, it's all I do, and now it's all I obsess over. But then usually after, like, 3-4 weeks, I kind of, like, get burnt out by it. But I feel like things with alcohol, like, that's an actual addiction. Like, but luckily, bro, I've been, like, dipping my toes in alcohol for about a year. Not even a year. For, like, 6 months now.
Yeah.
And I've never once felt like...
Would you
like
say...
I want to do it again. Like the next day. That makes sense?
Yeah. And I might be projecting right here. But do you really mean dipping your toes, or do you mean literally, like, jumping you cowabunga into alcohol?
No, I have athlete's foot, so I literally dip my toes in liquor. No, I'm just kidding. No, dude.
Because I will say...
Yeah. I would say dipping my toes.
Okay, so I am projecting.
Yeah.
Because right now, if I were to be talking to someone that's not you, that I, like, don't feel as that I can be so vulnerable with,
yeah,
I would probably hide that. I'm not sure what to feel about my relationship with alcohol right now. Because I'll drink a ton, and I'll do I've been doing things that I regret. And because I live alone, and something you'll understand too, like, like, I wish I was a social drinker, but because I just live in Salt Lake and there's 2 people that I actually know there, and we, and because I work every other week, you see, I'm coming up with excuses for why I drink so much.
Yeah.
See, and so I was projecting because maybe I was searching for a little bit of, like, I'm not the only one that says they're dipping their toes, but I'm actually jumping in.
Here's why I think,
force.
not to justify alcoholism, here's why I think it's okay. Because when you're deprived of something for so long, and you think of something as so evil, I think it's very important to go through a phase where you, like, overindulge. Because then you can learn that, like, how your body handles it. You can learn, like, what it does for you, what it doesn't do for you. Like, at first, like, how do I describe it? Like, I still think, like, when I first started drinking, I drank way less than the average person in their 20s. Way less. Yeah. But when I did drink, I went nuts.
Okay,
so that's what I mean.
We're on the same page to that point. Yeah.
Yeah. I, when I say dipping my toes in, I mean drinking, like, twice a month. No.
Whoa.
No. Once every other month.
You're still dipping your toes to that extent?
I drink once bi-monthly.
You dip one toe every other month?
But, dude, when I do, it's a full body submission, bro. Like,
yeah. Okay.
Thing is, like, I don't understand the point of drinking. Somebody out there can comment, why would you just drink, like, one cocktail?
Thank you.
It tastes gross. I'd rather have a Sprite.
That's how
it's like, if I'm going to have one drink, bring me a Sprite. It's like, I don't drink alcohol because, like, what a lovely treat. It tastes like shit, dude.
Yeah.
Give me 15 of them so I can feel like it's, I don't know.
Okay, so I'm glad that we're talking about this because I feel the same way. Like, I went out with, I'll say these names because I actually, like, this is a conversation I was, like, I was out with Ryan, Coulter, Blake, and Kylie.
Yeah.
And Emma.
Yeah.
And I remember being excited because I never go out with friends.
Yeah.
Ever.
Really? Why don't you just come with me, dude?
Well, you're the only person that I will go out, like, that I'll drink with. And
yeah, but, like, go out to Salt Lake with us. Go out to the bars with us. We go, like, every other week.
I'd be down. Every time you text me, the last 2 times you text me, I fell asleep.
Yeah.
And the other times I was working. But I do want to come out with you more.
Yeah.
We should do it this week since I'm off. I don't know if you
want to do it tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
We're, like, making plans on the pod. I don't even. Who cares though. We'll figure it out.
I have something tomorrow with my cousin, but I can't remember what it was.
You're chilling, dude.
But we went out, and I was excited because I never see all these people together.
Yeah.
They all want to go out and drink. I've never drank with all of them.
Yeah, that's a great experience.
And everyone just got one drink. And I'm like, I wasted $17 on this cocktail.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, it was fine, tasted fine, but like...
It's probably still fun.
It was, no, like, the social aspect was still fun, but I was like, if I knew that we weren't going to get drunk, I would have just got a Sprite.
Got a Sprite,
like you're saying.
Exactly. It's like, it doesn't taste good.
No.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's how I feel, too. I'm like, if I'm drinking, I'm going to drink as much as I can. You know? And so, I don't know if that's healthy, but I will say, one thing that makes me feel good is that I hear the chances of becoming an alcoholic if you start drinking in your 20s is, like, according to the things and I haven't read articles or studies because I'm too dumb for that. Yeah. But according to the one line that Google will show me every time I'm drunk and like getting scared I'm an alcoholic, the line will say the chances of becoming an alcoholic after the age of 21 is like 5%, 1%.
Super rare, dude.
Something like that.
You got to realize, bro, we're like in such a unique situation with alcohol. Like we're like in our mid-20s and we're like just figuring it out.
Yeah.
Most people by our age, most people in the world, I don't even say United States, but people in the world have now been drinking for like 10 years.
Yeah,
that
and I
are
guess
our age.
It's true, like for us, right now we're reasoning and talking about alcohol and our relationship with it. If I was going through this as a 15-year-old...
I would have been an alcoholic.
Yeah, everything would have gotten screwed
Can you
up.
imagine high school while drunk? Like, can you imagine like all the parties you've been to, all the social events you did, like all the hood rat shit you did? If you were drunk and you did that and all your friends were also drunk?
Dude, I already stayed up till 4 a.m. every single night of high school.
Yeah, no, you would have... Anyone would have been like a mess, dude.
Yeah. So, I also feel that way about kind of like sexuality.
Yeah.
I don't know, thinking forward to having kids one day, there's so much of my Mormon upbringing that I want to still kind of provide for them.
Yeah.
Because...
It's crime.
Yeah, it would have been nice to... Like, when I think back, there's certain times where I'm like, yeah, it would have been nice to experiment with girls here or there.
Yeah.
Or to have gotten high with my friends, because now I hardly see most of my high school friends, and it would have just been... I'm so curious what it would have been like to be high with them.
I think about that all the time.
But ultimately, I'm glad that I didn't.
Yeah.
You know?
No,
I don't regret not doing it.
I'm glad I didn't because I think now as an adult, I can enjoy that stuff way more. Like, I can rationalize and be like, all right, I'm done. And, like, I've never had, like, a bad relationship with it. Yeah. I've never had a bad relationship with weed or alcohol, like, because I think... I don't know, I feel like if you try it as in your mid-20s, you can rationalize, like, when to stop. You know?
I hope so.
When you're a kid, you can't... No, dude, because when you're a kid, you're 15, you don't know what the hell alcohol poisoning is. Yeah. You don't know what the hell addiction is.
And you're learning from other 15-year-olds. You're not learning from adults.
You're not going to ask your mom, hey, Mom, I'm drinking too much. How can I stop? Yeah. No, they'll destroy you if you do that. You keep it all to yourself, all to your friends. Mm-hmm. So it's like, as an adult, it's like safer to do it, dude. But like, I think it's fine that you're like, and me too, like when we do drink, we kind of go crazy. Because that's like what it's for. It's like not for like, I don't know. It's not for like everyday consumption. Like alcohol shouldn't be like something you drink every day. It should be something you do on occasion. But when you do it, you enjoy it.
See, and that's where I'm worried because with my schedule with work and stuff, so this week I'm off work. I work every other week. Yeah. And so I look at my off weeks as like every night is a weekend. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I will get drunk. Yeah. Multiple days in a row. But then when I'm not around it, it's not like I'm dying to drink. Yeah. So I guess that's a good sign. But
I personally never felt addiction. Like to alcohol. I've never been like, oh, I need a drink. I've never felt that. Even with like cannabis, even with weed, I've never felt like the need to do it again. Yeah. Like, after I finish, like I could go a year without it if I would need to. Like it's not, which is good. Thank goodness. It's probably how you feel. I think it's like, if you enjoy it, like do it. But like, if you know it's not a problem, it's like I think that's when you can enjoy it the most.
Yeah, I guess I just freaked myself out because now, honestly, this conversation is helpful for me because it is something I've been. It's been on my mind so much, and more than anything, I just want to be able to gauge. I wish that I could just accurately gauge, so that I could know if there was a problem. Yeah. And I think that because I don't know how to accurately gauge on my own, without having a conversation with someone, I don't trust myself that I'm doing anything. Yeah. I'm doing it wrong. Because going back to the Kanye thing, I feel like I do know in advance when something's going to go wrong based on what I'm worried about now.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
No, and I feel like you're a rational enough dude where you can trust yourself. You can trust your own opinion and your own, like, judgment on that, bro. It's just, I don't know. It is fun, though. Like, some of the funnest nights of my life have been, like, when I'm, like, incohesive drunk. Like,
yeah, oh, yeah. No,
like, I could honestly count on my fingers how many times that's happened.
Yeah.
And I'm, like, 27. So I feel like that's pretty healthy.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be that worried.
We're not. Dude, people our age are alcoholics. Like, like you have to realize.
They've been alcoholics
since
for
they were
years.
16. We're doing way better than them without substance. Or you go to, like, anywhere outside of Utah, people our age are just getting plastered after work. Like, it's just, like, normal.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, I know people who get plastered at their lunch break.
Oh, wow.
Not plastered, but like they have to drink.
They take a couple drinks. Yeah. That's insane.
Not plastered. I was just completely lying right now.
Just drinking. I don't know. Bro, it's interesting because I think, to go back to anime, I think you as like a movie enthusiast, because you're way into movies.
Yeah. I haven't been into movies as much since my mission. I don't know why. Actually, I do kind of have an idea why, but yeah. I do love talking about movies.
Why don't you think you've been into movies as much since being mission?
I kind of noticed I noticed it with music first. Before my mission, I loved music. On my mission, I loved music.
By the way, mission is a 2-year expedition where the LDS Church sends you to somewhere in the world and you preach their gospel. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
So, I loved music. And looking back, it was pretty basic music. Like, I was a fan of John Bellion.
Yeah, now it's fine. The basic stuff is fine.
I laugh so hard every time he comes on. But also, like, Panic at the Disco. Like, I was into goofy stuff. Like, but
Imagine Dragons.
I was never in Imagine Dragons. Actually, that's another topic I want to visit. Is like interests and saying if an interest is weird or not.
Okay.
So we'll put a pin in that. Okay. I guess, but
I'll write it down. I'll take a note.
So the past couple years, I think it's been a combination of deconstructing the church and figuring out where I want to go with spirituality and like belief, but also when I got home, I kind of had an attitude of like, I'm not going to go to school because I want to get experience in a career first. Or not first, but like I want to see if I can make that work. Yeah. And so I did try to make that work for the first 2 years being back, and it was just way too stressful. I tried to start a business, and it was going well, but I experienced burnout, like cycles of burnout, and it just got to a point that it kind of exploded, and I just gave it all up. Yeah. And that I had already moved out, and I quit a few jobs, like clients I had for my business, and it felt like I was at the bottom of my life again. Yeah. Because the past 2 years of trying to build up a career and a business just kind of failed. Mm-hmm. And what's weird is that when I had all of that weight off of me, I listened to a song like music again, and I started crying because it's the first time I enjoyed music in 2 years.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. And I feel like something similar has been happening with movies where my mind is just running, trying to figure out what I need to do to set myself up in my 20s, you know, like things that you're quote unquote supposed to do in life.
Yeah.
And
I feel you, dude.
I've been so
I've been
stressed
through
about
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like everybody, unless your parents like are billionaires, like everyone's going to experience this. But I do think that that's kind of why I haven't been as much of a movie.
Do you think you just feel guilty when you enjoy things that aren't making you money?
Yes. Because the same thing happened when I quit my job. Mm-hmm. I played Minecraft for the first time in 2 years, and
you felt guilt?
No, I didn't, because I was allowed to now.
Yeah, dude, I feel you. I mean, I used to be like that too. When I took like 15 credit hours at Weber, and I worked 3 jobs. I was a coach. I worked with the Boys and Girls Club. That was 2 jobs. I don't know why. I just blatantly lied. I think it's because it felt like 3 jobs going to school. But anyways, I worked at the Boys and Girls Club. I was a basketball coach and I did 15 credit hours. This is like in my early 20s when I just had had to set myself up in the future. I have to provide for a family. Like that, like Utah, like
hustle culture.
Like hustle culture where they just push you to like be suicidal.
Yep.
But I did it, and dude, I did it for like 2 years. I grinded, and then like, dude, burnout is real, dog.
Yeah.
Like if you don't take breaks, your body will decide for you when to take a break, and it'll be at times you don't even know. Mm-hmm. It was like 4 weeks after finals is when I when burnout happened, and it's hard to describe. I don't know if it's like this for you, for anybody else, but dude, burnout for me was like. My body was like, "We're done. Mm-hmm. You're not gonna work. You're not gonna get out of bed. You're not gonna do. You're not gonna do anything."
Yeah.
And dude, I could barely like move like that last like semester, and I barely scraped on by, and I got the credits for that. I got like all C's, but like begging professors to pass me, like I had to pull strings, like. And afterwards, I'm like, dude, I was like, this is not good. Like I wasn't motivated to do anything. I wasn't motivated to like. Clean my car. I wasn't motivated to shower. I wasn't motivated. This is kind of like, I'm opening up a little bit, but I don't think it's that vulnerable. I think this happens to a lot of people. I wasn't even motivated to like eat. Mm-hmm. It's weird. And then I was like, dude, this is not healthy. Something's got to change. So I like took a break from school. I quit that job and I just like took a second to reset and I just like worked and I just kind of like, I don't know, dude, you got to pace yourself because when I was at that point, I wasn't playing video games. I wasn't watching movies. I was listening to music, but like, and when I would play video games, when I would watch movies, I feel like guilty. I'd be like, dude, this is not making me money.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like, dude, I don't know. I think now I have a perspective of like, bro, like, you're not taking any money with you to the grave. You're only taking the good times you had. You're only taking the times you felt at peace to your grave. And if like, as long as you have like a good work ethic, and you're working towards a goal you have, that goal doesn't even need to be money, bro. Like, that idea that you need to make money is made up. You just need to have enough money to be happy. Like, as long as you're working towards a goal, bro, like, if playing Minecraft for 6 hours on your free time, like on a weekend, when you're, like, being productive that week, if that makes you happy, dude, like, do it. Like if it, I don't know, it's weird. It's like, you should be able to do things that relax you without feeling guilt. And I think I'm kind of yapping at this point, but I think like the social pressures of Utah have made us feel guilty for like being at peace, which is really weird.
Well, like you said about burnout, your body will decide.
Yeah.
And so even if making money is a goal of yours,
yeah,
and that's how you think that you will be able to provide yourself with the things that matter,
yeah,
that's not the calculation everyone makes. But if that is what you think, if you think you need money to establish the life that will bring you happiness. With that premise, the problem is, or if there's nothing wrong, let's say there's nothing wrong with that. At least for myself, like, I thought if I could just work hard enough and put myself in line and discipline myself enough that, I don't know, it was like a weakness if I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And now I understand that it's almost, I don't know what the word would be, but it's almost impossible. It is impossible because your body will shut you down.
Yeah.
And so don't even try to live life that way.
Yeah.
Because it will never work. You need to pace yourself and treat yourself.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this yesterday.
Yeah. I'm writing something down. Keep going.
Okay. People always say like, oh, emotion, there's a big thing going on right now, at least I've been seeing it online, where people talk about how emotions are like weakness.
Yeah.
But to say emotions are a weakness implies that there's such thing as emotion in the first place, right?
Yeah.
So then it's like the question for people like that I have is, okay, so if emotion is a weakness and that means that you say that there is such thing as emotion, then what is the purpose of an emotion? Mm-hmm. And if you're someone who wants to care about what science says, then you'll know that emotions are signals. First of all, emotions are how you understand experiences. And so if you have an experience that gives you an emotion of anger, then that means you need to understand, to best approach this experience or situation that brought that emotion, you need to start with your emotion because that is humanly how you understand the world.
Yeah, bro. I mean, dude, hustle culture is getting out of control if, like, we're not allowed to feel things.
Yeah.
Feeling things is beta. That's so crazy, bro.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, name one person in real life that isn't on TikTok pretending they don't have emotion. Name one person that lives by that and isn't a complete, I don't know what you'd even say, just like
depressed mess.
Yes.
Okay, this is what I borderline don't want to share this, but I'm gonna share it. Screw it. I have some friends, right? Like I'm not gonna say names. They're not friends that are like super in my life. So it's not anyone that I'm like super messing with right now, but it's friends that I've had like in high school that are like trying to recruit me to do summer sales or whatever. And they're the type of dudes that are like wake up at 4 a.m. and take a primal shower and like brush your teeth with piss and like go kill an ogre in the morning, like, and then go make $100,000 and come back and get a wife. I don't know, you know those dudes. Yeah. I mean, this is gonna be dark. Sorry if this triggers anybody, but they're all suicidal. Every single one of them.
Yeah.
That I knew in high school. Every single one, without fail. Not to say summer sales bros are all suicidal. I have so many summer sales bros, but they like approach it like a job. They don't approach it like a lifestyle. They approach it like, all right, I'm doing this to make a lot of money because it makes me happy. All those dudes are fine. All those dudes are so happy and they're so like, I'm happy for them. For example, I'll give a good example. My friend Cutler, for example, he made a frick ton of money, a ridiculous amount of money doing summer sales, but he approaches it as a job. He approaches it as like he has a high work ethic. He's like, he works hard, but he's like healthy because I think he approaches it as a job, not as a lifestyle. But dude, those dudes that are like obsessed with like alphaing everybody, they're all depressed because they're constantly comparing themselves to everybody. Yep. They're constantly like, why do I not have $1 million? Like, I'm a loser. They're constantly getting invited by their friends to go out and have a drink or watch a movie, and they're like, I don't got time, I gotta grind. And before they know it, they're 27. All their friends are settling down because they are fulfilled. They've had enough memories. They went on road trips. They had nights of drinking. And they're 28, and they're like just barely like, oh, now I'm gonna dabble in partying with nobody because all my friends are fulfilled in life, and I'm not. And it's dark. And I'm sorry, like there's some people that have like opened up to me. I'm gonna tell because it's important. It's toxic, dude.
Yeah.
Like awareness needs to be raised to this, bro. Like,
so what do you because even when I was a missionary, I remember thinking, oh, I'm not a man. I'm not a man enough. And so my goal when I get home is to be more of a man.
Dude, hustle culture is on the mission. It's real, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude.
So like even someone, I came home when I was 21.
I do want to talk about that. I'm gonna write it down.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What would you have to say to young men that, because here's the thing, they look up to, like when I was in high school, it was Jordan Peterson. And nowadays, like I can't even stand him. But to be honest, like I would prefer Jordan Peterson for young men over Andrew Tate.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Jordan Peterson's also a sellout because I think not to interrupt you, he used to be very good for young men. He used to like install confidence. He used to install like introspective thoughts about how to better yourself, and I think the incels kind of ate that up, and he started just feeding the incels what they want to hear so he can get more rich.
I agree. I think
and now he says things that like, bro, you don't even believe that.
Yeah,
like you're just feeding incels.
I agree. He's definitely a sellout, 100%. That's what I always call him too.
Yeah,
because
sellout.
Without getting, I guess we don't have to get into like the Daily Wire and stuff, but yeah, he's a sellout. And yeah, I think it kind of like laid down the path for me. He helped me a lot, and I would say that also some of the good things I've learned and like a lot of opinions I've changed for the better are thanks to the groundwork that he laid for me as a young man. Yeah. And unfortunately, there's also a lot of like there was an avenue for a lot of incel type people. Yeah. And then the next answer to their desires was people like Andrew Tate. Yeah. So Andrew Tate is like that on steroids. Yeah. It's like a harder drug. It's like Jordan Peterson's like the gateway, then Andrew Tate is like when you need rehab. Yeah. Like you're like addicted. Yeah. So like on the one hand, I don't know, it's hard to compete because when you're in that mindset where you've come to value the type of example that you value is someone like Andrew Tate.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone shows up and starts talking about emotions and vulnerability and stuff. Well, you know, we're not going to help those guys. Maybe I wish we could, but we're not going to help those guys. But to young men that are genuinely confused and like just want to do what will be the best for the world.
Yeah.
What do you have to say to them about masculinity, confronting emotion, vulnerability, stuff like that?
Dude, I think the biggest, most alpha masculine thing you can do is to be a happy person, bro. Because, like, not to get corny, but, like, if you're happy, it means, like, despite your imperfections, you're probably living your life the right way.
Yeah.
If you're miserable, even if you have, like, 8 board abs and $10 million in your bank account, and your girlfriend's, like, a Russian model... Dude, if you're like...
girl?
Yeah, dude, if you're not happy... if you're not... if you're not happy, bro, like... that's... You're a beta to me. Like, I don't know. And it's like... There's some people that have mental deficiencies, like depression. I'm not saying they're beta. That's not what I'm saying.
Right, that's a good point to make.
I'm saying dudes, like the most masculine thing you can do is, like, be happy. Because once you're happy, you have confidence. Like, you'll work out. Like, you'll do things that are seen as manly, I guess. Even though, like, there's some things in society that, like, we label as manly that I think should be manly. And there's some things that aren't, you know? Like, I think showing emotion, bro, is manly. I can't show emotion. Like, I can't cry. In front of people, really. Because it's just, like, been instilled in my head that, like, you're a pussy if you cry. So, like, my body just won't let me, dude. It's weird. Even by myself, I can't really cry.
Oh, really?
It's weird. I try to. I do every once in a while. I cry out of, like, when I think something's beautiful. That's when I do cry a lot. Like, with music. But I can't cry out of, like, emotion, really.
And you think that is because some people just don't... crying is just not a manifestation of... That's not how their feelings manifest.
Yeah.
But you're saying that you think it is because of shame that you might have had about crying, or like...
Yeah, and I've also been called a pussy my whole life by my cousins and, like, my older cousins. And I don't know. And my whole life, I've kind of believed it. I've kind of just believed I'm a pussy. Like, my whole life. So I'm like... my whole life, I'm just constantly trying to, like... prove to myself I'm not a pussy. It's weird. It's
Dude,
like...
that's crazy, because at least since we've become friends, you are the least... Like, when you're talking about what manly really being, you know, you could call it manly, you could just call it, like, healthy identity. I don't even know what you'd call it, but that it's healthy to be not emotional per se, but honest with yourself about your emotions and secure in your emotion and who you are. And
I'm not good at that, dude. It's hard to
That's
do
what
that.
I'm saying. I'm so surprised that you're saying that, because you're a huge example of that for me.
Like, showing emotion? I feel like I haven't really shown...
No, well, maybe sometimes, but like being yourself. And so to say that you have always felt like you're a pussy is so unlike how you present.
I don't think I do anymore. I think it was mostly in my youth, maybe early 20s. But I think it, like, deep inside me, it, like, resurfaces sometimes. Like, with that, like, with not being able to cry. I think my body just has developed, like, such, like... By the way, I appreciate your compliment, bro. It means a lot. But, I don't know, just, like, my body is just, like... I don't know how to say this without sounding like a complete cornball. But, like, my body kind of... You can't. There's no way I can say this and not sound corny. So I'm just going to say it. If it's corny, it's corny. Like, I think my body, like, hardened its emotions because, like, I want it... Like, deep down, I, like, have that not resentment. I have that, like, coping mechanism with, like, being called, like, a pussy and all this. It's because I was raised kind of, like, my mom didn't let me, like, do a lot of things as a toddler because she was terrified of the world. So, like, I was a pussy as a kid. I mean, I don't know. It's interesting.
I can't actually, when you frame it like that, it does remind me, growing up, I also, like, I always wanted to go with my mom and my sisters to do stuff. I never wanted to go do what my dad and my brother were doing. Yeah. And I actually had a lot of anxiety growing up if we had to go to scout camp. Yeah. And people were going to be playing sports.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And I was like, I would genuinely get what I can now identify as anxiety. Yeah. Because I see other kids like be open, like, oh, it's not my thing. But for me, I had so much shame about it because it meant something about me being a boy.
That's true. And like in Utah, and you don't want to go throw around a football or shoot hoops, you're like a weirdo.
Yeah.
Not that you're a weirdo, but like you're seen as like it's. Yeah.
Well, and I wouldn't even like. I didn't ever have anybody tell me like, oh, you're weird. You're not like you're not manly. People always accepted like me for who I was. I really never had a problem with that, but somewhere in my childhood there was messaging or maybe just my own misunderstanding about the world.
Yeah.
That gave me anxiety about that.
Interesting. Maybe you felt like you weren't like manly or cool because you weren't playing sports, even though no one told you directly. Mm-hmm. But like whether it's like family or like friends like playing sports, maybe you just like you felt like that yourself. Which do you think you like overcompensated by just like
becoming
being funny,
becoming a theater kid? No,
like being funny. like you're like, all right, how do I stand out? I'm not gonna stand out with sports. I'm just gonna be like funny. Because you're like genuinely one of the funniest dudes I know, bro.
Oh, thanks.
You are. So like, do you think you just like developed like that like mechanism of like, all right, I'm gonna stand out this way then because I can't do this way.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Well, because like to go back to high school, I guess I had a Finsta.
Yeah.
And when I look back, I'm like, I think every one of these posts was using humor as a defense mechanism.
Interesting.
Like if we won't pull it up because it'd be boring to listen to, but
yeah, we could just read them.
Yeah,
or like the posts, I guess.
We could. I'll pull it up and see if I think it would be interesting. But yeah, there's like I'll be making fun of like if I was really self-conscious about being skinny in high school, so I'm like pointing out that I have a flat butt, like in posts or what else was there? Like I don't know, all kinds of stuff. Even the fact that I was a theater kid, I would make fun of years later when I was no longer a theater kid because I was insecure about what that meant compared to what other cool dudes do, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's just like, humor was a huge defense mechanism, and it's interesting how defense mechanisms they help you accomplish your goal, which is to
like make friends.
Yeah, make friends and I think my goal all the time, like even now that I struggle with, is I worry so much about coming across as self-aware. Like, multiple times in this conversation, I've been like, "Oh, that makes me sound so pretentious." Yeah. Even if I don't mean it, sometimes the way I phrase something, I get worried that, that makes me sound like I think I'm this. That makes me sound like I think that's. I don't know. There's things that pop up.
I do have a question for you, bro. Because like, where do you think the line is between being pretentious and like appropriately hyping yourself up? Because I think it's okay to pop your shit sometimes. Like I said before. Like, where do you think that line is, bro?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of an example of somebody who...
I don't really know.
Yeah, who seems to have that balance.
Dude, personally, bro, I love when people talk themselves up. As long as it's, like, true. Like, for example, it's, like, such a different... Because it's a different perspective than you, but sports, for example. When we play basketball, it's, like, very common when someone's, like, playing really well, like, hitting a lot of shots to, like, talk shit to be like, oh, I'm him, like you can't guard me. He's like, I'm on fire. I don't know. It's just like there's like it's in the culture to like
it's a type of banter
to talk your shit like in a way you can't anywhere else in life. I can't get in your face like I'm the shit. You can't guard me. He's like I'm above you. Like and that's normalized in basketball. So it's like, and I love it, dude. It's like the energy that you feel when you're doing it, the self-love. I like get off on it. I think that's why. That's not why, but that's a big reason I like basketball because
there's a little bit more ground for honesty. About how you feel,
and you can be so honest because like in basketball, like you're trying to win. So if somebody sucks at something, you tell them like, "Hey, you suck at this. Do this. You're good at this. This is your strength. Do this." It's like in life, there's no like way to be that honest without offending people.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I know the line. Like, I don't know if I could tell you what I think the line is because I'm so insecure about my. This makes me worry that I'm about to come across pretentious. Because I was gonna say, I don't know if I found that balance, of knowing how to do that. Yeah. And the reason I thought that was going to sound pretentious is because I'm like, oh, now that makes it sound like I'm trying to be humble. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, you're overthinking it, bro.
I know. I think I don't know if I have like... literally every word I'm saying right now is like freaking me out. even that, because it makes me sound like I'm trying to say something like, oh, I
say something good about yourself right now.
Pop
your shit right now, bro.
Okay, today I did my hair. I was proud of my hair today.
Yeah?
Because I have been doing this new routine I found on TikTok. And my curls are looking healthy.
Can I say something to you that will give you confidence?
Please.
Your hair looks fuller, bro.
Really?
Yeah. It looks like full. I was like surprised when you came in here.
Dude, that makes me feel good. Because I've been like, I took this picture today for those listening. Mm-hmm. I just happened to take a selfie today when I pulled open my camera. Well, I didn't take a selfie first. I pulled open my camera, and I noticed what I looked like. Yeah. And you can like see my scalp to an insane extent.
What did you do?
Yeah, because this picture makes me look bald, huh?
Yeah.
I guess for those that have my type of hair, if you want to know, like, if you have a hair type that is always frizzy if you do nothing to it, here's how to make it look better. Fuller, as you're saying. Yeah. You just shampoo and condition it with like a higher quality thing. My stuff costs like, I think $30 each. So the shampoo and the conditioner is $30 or $60 together. Yeah. Leave a little bit of conditioner in when you get out. And if that even means washing it all out and then just squirting a little bit, so you can't even see it.
Bro, dudes with curly hair are like listening to this and are like, yeah, duh.
I know, dude.
This is what I've done my whole life, bro.
This morning when I did my hair and like, I was like, why have I not been doing... Yeah. I regret... Why didn't I do this in high school?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it looks fuller. Like, it looks like you, like, reverse aged yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Like,
that
genuinely.
Makes me feel good.
Yeah, dude.
See, but even today I was self-conscious because I was like, am I trying too hard to have a good hairdo?
Yeah. Dude, am I trying too hard to look good? It doesn't make sense, bro.
I know it doesn't, but I just...
Bro, I think sometimes it's healthy to just be unapologetic. Not all the time. Because, like, there's a balance and everything. But, dude, being unapologetic sometimes is so freeing, dude. And, like, sometimes I think I can be a little too unapologetic. But, like, it's good, bro. Yeah. You should be like, I'm this way.
I have good hair today.
Yeah. Say it. Say that shit with your chest.
I have good hair today. And I know how to do it for the rest of my life. As long as I still have hair.
Damn. What do you think Arnold Schwarzenegger's dick looks like?
Honestly, it probably is a normal size. Because he's
done... This is why I say that. Because a lot of roids. He's also very old. Mm. He has a very peculiar build. Mm-hmm. What do you think that puppy looks like?
So I was going to say it's probably a normal size. But because of his build...
And drugs. And steroids.
And yeah, I guess I don't know how... Do steroids make it smaller?
That's the word on the street.
Oh, okay, that is probably smaller.
Yeah.
But if let's just say it's all natural, like his entire build is like his body is natural. Yeah. He does have a crazy build. Yeah. Not just because he's like muscular, but his shape is like
he's like stumpy.
Yeah, and like he looks like he's an interesting body.
Dude, also, not to change the subject, so in ADHD manner, but like, how did he become like the governor of California?
There must have been... When was that in the 80s?
Dude, he's like barely... Like... he can barely talk.
Yeah, he's like known for being... Like
it's
not
crazy.
being... But he's kind of known, at least for my age group, just known for talking like this. Like, and not to say that
that doesn't mean you're dumb.
Your accent does not mean you're dumb, but it's like, how did you effectively communicate to people 30 years ago? Whereas people are even more prejudiced against people with accents now. Yeah. Like, it must have been worse back then. So
it's
how did you...
funny, dude. It's
probably because he's white.
It's probably like foreshadowing Trump being president. Like a celebrity person just
I was going to say...
being a politician.
I was curious if it was going on at the same time as Reagan, because he was a movie star too.
I don't know, dude. Either way, I'm sure he has a fine dick.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think, just to wrap up my thoughts on that... Yeah. I think he probably has a normal sized one. Mm-hmm. If he is not taking drugs, it's probably normal size, but it looks small because of his build. Yeah, that's what I think.
It's probably like veiny but small. That's my opinion. Oh wow, that's my opinion on it.
I've never seen one of those, but
I see one of those every day. Just kidding. It's massive, but dude, I wrote down a note. I want to talk a little bit. This is where like. my cousin Daniel's gonna turn the podcast off. I want to talk a little bit about like mission culture, because it's so interesting how like mission culture is like a translation of Utah culture, but it's like magnified on the mission. It's like Utah. It's like if you Utah culture is like mission culture sugar coated. If that makes any sense.
Utah. Say
like,
that again.
Mission culture. Oh no, Utah culture is mission culture sugar coated.
Okay, I got it. Yeah,
it's like a less concentrated version.
Yeah. Well, I've always said, I think there can be a debate about whether or not the church is a cult. Like, I think it's up for debate. Some things, it's like, yeah, that's cult-ish.
But what is a cult? Because isn't every religion a cult, technically, by their definition?
Yeah.
Isn't a bunch of dudes gathering to watch a sport on a Sunday a cult?
Yeah, and I'm not going to really buy... I know that's an important distinction to make. Like, not distinction, but a definition to agree upon. But I more mean, like, in general, how people feel. Like, you can look at Scientology, and everyone's going to call it a cult, right?
Yeah.
Mormonism is more in the gray area where some people want to call it a cult, and other people, like, I really do think you could debate about it. Even if you choose a definition, I think you could debate about whether or not it's a cult. The mission, though, is 100% a cult.
That is, without a doubt, a cult. And I want to say this. I want to preface it by saying this. Like, I loved my mission, dude. Like, I loved everyone I met, all my companions, and, like, the experiences I've had there, bro, there's no way I would have them here. Like, the memories and, like, people skills I learned, and, dude, I loved it. I borderline would do it again as an 18-year-old. As an 18-year-old.
Huh.
Not as a 27-year-old.
Yeah.
Hell no. But I would do it again. I would do it again. Because, I don't know, dude. There's like, I haven't felt emotions like that since I've been home. Like, emotions I felt there. Not even like for religious reasons. Like, on a human-to-human connection level.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't been able to replicate it. Because you can't just go up to strangers and be like, hey, can we help you mow your lawn? Can we help you do this? And that's all you have to do all day is just go around and like make people happy.
Yeah, that's true.
That's insane to me. But anyways.
Yeah, I agree. There's like last night, I've been trying to connect with, this kind of has to touch on the other thing I mentioned in passing that I think you took a note about, like what interests are valid or not. So like, again, sports is like, if you're from Plain City, Utah, sports is totally a valid interest. You're not going to get made fun of if you're into sports. But if you're into anime, when we were growing up, you're probably weird. You
not anymore, but back then,
you were perceived as weird. And nowadays, I kind of have an opinion that like nothing is too weird to be interested in. And it's better for the world if people are interested in different things.
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of how I feel. And lately I've been getting more into my childhood interests again. So I've been watching a lot of Rhett and Link. I've been watching...
I still watch them.
Yeah.
In the shower.
Yeah, I like when I'm trying to relax, I'll watch them. There's other things like Assassin's Creed I've been getting more into, and just stuff like that.
Minecraft.
At some point I told myself to grow up. And it's like, that's fine. Like, yeah, you can grow up, and if you are still interested in something, though, that's all right, because it had an effect on you for a reason. So it's interesting to try to understand that. Anyway, the reason I'm trying to say that is because I was watching Mr. Rogers last night.
Hell yeah.
Because he was probably my earliest hero. I can confidently say he was my earliest childhood hero. And I wanted to make a little collage for myself on my phone to like make me feel, I don't know if motivated is the word, or just like, I wanted to get a picture of him on there and just like a few other symbols or people that make me feel like inspiring things for me. And one of the things that I wanted to put on there were like pictures from people that I taught on my mission. And it's weird because if I saw them now, I would be in a really awkward situation where I'm like, I'm not Mormon anymore. There were some people that I saw the church change their lives. And that's complicated because I didn't see the truth of the gospel change their lives. I saw aspects of a community change their lives. I don't know if that makes sense. If that difference makes sense.
You articulated that very well.
Okay, thanks. So, so it's inspiring because I saw things like that help other people. And it reminds me of when whether it was part of a church or whatever, a time when I was committed to other people.
Yeah.
And it makes me want to be more like that now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to have pictures of those people on my phone.
That's dope.
To help inspire me. And so, yeah, when I think back to my mission, there's so many things that I learned. Because, I don't know, it's weird because, like, you can put people in really terrible situations and they're going to learn the most important lessons of their lives.
Yeah, dude.
So, like, it's a weird thing where I don't want to talk so much. Like, I can't say the mission was, like, the worst thing for me. That I regret doing it at all.
Oh, no, dude. I think it made me... It, like, accelerated my, like, understanding of life for, like, by 10 years. And it's just, like... I don't know, dude, but, like... Okay, it's not... It's a great experience, but, like...
So then what's the problem with it?
Like, I just think that... I want to say all that before saying that, like... It is probably the most toxic environment for, like, a 19-year-old you can be.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a very loud, obnoxious, like, laughy person. And feeling guilty for, like, being too loud or irreverent, dude, it, like, ruined me, bro. Like, it's still to this day sometimes. I literally, to this day, feel guilty when I'm being too, like, obnoxious. When, back before the mission, that was, like, what people liked about me. Like, people have told me, they're like, you're, like, I like how, like, loud and funny you are. But, like, on the mission, I felt guilt because you couldn't... That was the hardest thing for me, like, not being able to be myself. Like, because, dude, myself goes against every mission rule you could think of, dude. like loud, obnoxious, dick jokes, racist... racist jokes about, like, I don't know, dude, about, who cares, bro? Like,
yeah,
I think the things with race is, like, so... People are too sensitive with that shit. Like, who cares? I've gotten racist jokes my whole life. Growing up a minority in Utah, I've had the most vile things said at me. And, like, it's just easier if you just laugh at it, bro. Like, just laugh at it. It's just, like, life's too short to just not laugh at people's quirks. And race is a quirk. Like, who cares? But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. As long as you're not genuinely racist. Like, that's, like, there's a line. Well, there was people that said racist things at me that weren't funny. They were genuinely racist.
Yeah.
That's when it's different.
And I guess this is
we're getting
kind
sidetracked.
Of a tangent, but I do want to say about that.
Yeah.
I grew up saying racist things, homophobic things, sexist things, because they were shocking. Not because I was actually necessarily racist, homophobic, or sexist.
It's a shock value that people like.
So, I mean, when you're at the age that you are when you go on a mission, that's still, coming from Utah, quite a bit of... At least it was quite a bit of my personality. Yeah,
dude. And I'll go back. I don't want to stray too far from the subject because I will, dude. So let me know if I start just yapping. But, like, I did joke around on the mission. I was just still myself, but, like, nerfed, for lack of a better term. I can't say nerfed because that's such brain rot, dude. a lower tone version of myself.
Yeah.
Can't say nerf, dude.
Brain rot.
Oh, yeah, man. But no, I was I think it's ends up being a toxic environment because you're just constantly guilty about something. Like, if you think about it, how many 19, 20-year-olds are out there not drinking alcohol, not doing anything with girls, just serving people and still feel like they're pieces of shit, like still feel worthless.
Yep.
That is insane, dude.
Yep.
So, like, I think that is, like, not okay. The rules that we had to follow are so brain dead, and not, like, there's no way God approved that, dude. There's no way, dude.
Well, if you want to talk about if it's a cult or not, there's this thing called the bite model that this guy named Stephen Hassan came up with. And it's a way to gauge. So generally it's not really helpful to call anything a cult because it just, like, makes people feel alienated from you. So if they're in a cult, it won't help them to tell them they're in a cult because then they won't trust you.
It's divisive talk.
Yeah.
Because when you were, like, really involved in the LDS church and people called it a cult, you'd be like, all right, they're kind of ignorant. You would just write off any opinion they have.
Right. And so, like, I think the healthier way is to just gauge, like, behavior. So, like, like the word cult, that's just like, I was the one earlier that just said the mission was a cult. So
Yeah,
like,
you said the LDS Church you could argue isn't a cult, but
Yeah.
the mission is definitely a cult.
Yeah. So I guess I'm being kind of hypocritical by calling it a cult, but I think the more healthy approach is like this. So like talking about the rules for the mission and saying how they're not from God.
Yeah.
I want you to, I'll go through this list and just let me know your thoughts in applying it to the mission. Okay. So this is behavior that is not helpful. That is cultish. Control of physical environment. So just say yes or no for these.
Yes.
Okay. Rigid rules.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Rewards and punishments.
Yes.
Dependence.
In different ways, though. Dependence. I mean, yes. Like,
obedience.
Yes. You're describing the mission handbook right now.
Okay, so that was behavior.
Okay.
So this is how that's
interesting.
This is how cults, when they're controlling your behavior, this is how they do it. So those things I just listed. Okay. Now this is information.
Okay, list them off.
Deception.
That one is hard to argue as a yes and no. It depends where you're at. Because...
Well, did they tell you, like for me, the church's history? They didn't tell me that.
I feel like that's a church thing, not a mission thing, though.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about, like, my missionary life. And, like, if we answer this as a church, then yeah. But, like, on the mission, I feel like the mission was more transparent with the church's history, actually. That's, like, when I learned the most about, like, how Joseph Smith killed people. Like, when he died, he killed dudes.
Yeah.
In self-defense, but, like, I'm saying, like, that isn't told.
Uh-huh.
But that's what I learned on the mission. So deception is tough. But I'm thinking about my mission president. The first one, President Robinson. I'm trying to think if any way he, like, deceived me. Not even him deceived me, but, like, just, like, the system of the mission was deceptive. It depends where you're at. Because if you think it's all a lie, if you think the church is all BS, then making you do that, it's all deception. But I'm trying to see it from, like, an objective, like, person in the church. And I'm going to say no.
Okay.
On deception.
Okay. Propaganda.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did that show up?
We had this thing called Estandarte, where missionaries could just, like, I guess, for lack of a better term, brag about their baptisms, and it pushed us to, like, get baptisms. That's propaganda. And also, like, the culture and the mission isn't placed without propaganda. Whether the propaganda, it's not going to be ads on TV, but the propaganda can happen in different ways. It can come to fruition through the culture. It can come to fruition through the president. But yeah, propaganda, yes.
Yeah, I would say the propaganda for me showed up through devotionals that we would have with members of the 70 that would show up and tell us to trust your mission president. They're called of God. See, the thing is, like, if the church is true, then this is all just that way it should be, right?
Yeah, no, it's true.
But,
Then,
discourages access.
I'm going to say yes on deception, actually.
Okay.
Because my mission president, he did not fuck with me, bro. He acted like he did, but I could tell deep down he did not like me. Robinson. I'll say his name. I don't give a shit. Come find me, pussy.
Dude, I want to find my first mission president, and I don't know.
My second one was way better. 9 Day. Ezra's parents.
Yeah.
They were way better. I think he actually did like me. But no, my first one did not fuck with me, bro. But yeah, keep going.
Okay, if this is going too long,
No, this is interesting.
Okay.
I like this.
Discourages access to outside sources of information.
That goes without... Yes.
So for those that don't know, maybe we should explain a little more, because, like, for me and you, we know it.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting for people to hear it.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, so I'll repeat, discourages access to outside sources of information. How many books are you allowed to read on the mission?
Only church books.
And even then...
then they outlawed some.
There's like 4...
Within the church, they outlawed some.
Yeah, you're only supposed to read the Book of Mormon, the Bible, Pearl of Great Price, and Doctrine and Covenants. And then there's
the church books about, like, the...
Jesus the Christ.
Some other one. I don't know. Let's just say, like, I wouldn't say, like, 15 to 20 books you're probably allowed to read.
Yeah. If you got caught reading, like, Harry Potter, even something as
innocent as Harry Potter. Oh, my gosh. You get crucified, bro.
Yeah. Not even to mention you can't watch TV.
Yeah, you can't watch TV.
Can't access the internet.
You can't talk to your loved ones. Now you can.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to.
You're not supposed to.
You're not supposed to be scrolling Facebook, even though you have it now.
Yeah. I mean, when I was there, you weren't allowed to talk to your family. You weren't allowed to make phone calls without your companion like overhearing it. You weren't allowed to send text without your companion approving of the text. What other thing are you deprived of, like, in media? You're basically, you can't watch TV. No, you can't listen to music that isn't church, like, done by the church or church approved. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so yeah, that one's a hard yeah.
All right, insider-outsider doctrine.
Wait, insider-outsider doctrine?
Yeah, this one I'm not sure if I really understand what it's saying.
I don't understand that one either. Insider, for sure.
Well, I guess what I would say, like, is as a missionary, there were certain things that would happen where it's like, if your companion started talking about Kolob, mm-hmm. which is apparently the planet that Jesus, or the star that God lives next to.
Yeah.
You know about Kolob, right?
Yeah, yeah.
If your companion starts talking about that, then you need to pull them aside and be like, no, we don't tell people about that. It's like Scientologists and Xenu. Yeah. It's like, that's like, we don't let people know that we believe in that.
Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of insider, outsider.
I mean, yeah, I think my mission was a little different. Like, our mission was like, if you need to tell someone some deep doctrine, if you feel like the spirit is telling you to, then you can. But I think it was a healthy outsider doctrine too, honestly. I'm going to keep it objective because we were allowed to go to other churches, bro. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, when I was there, I went to a Jehovah's Witness church. I went to church with an evangelist. I went to church with like a Catholic or something. I don't know what it was. But they let you go to their churches. So I think that's I mean,
yeah, that's good.
We'll keep it objective. We can't just shit on everything.
Yeah, I don't want to pull at, what is this saying? Pulling at straws?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. So maybe even we could say, like, well, we'll just say how we honestly feel.
Yeah, we just got to be how we honestly feel. Don't feel like you need to be nice or mean. Yeah. Just be what you believe. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, so the next category is thought. So all or nothing, good, evil, us versus them, dogma. So like binary, it's this or it's that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the doctrine. That's just like the church.
Yeah.
That's apart from the mission.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and by the way, all these are supposed to be seen at like and analyzed on a spectrum. Mm-hmm. So it's like, with this category, it's a little bit, not so unhealthy, or like there's an explanation.
That's the thing. Some of these is like 100, and some of these are like 60%.
Yeah, and some of them it's like, I don't see like. Yeah, this might exist in the church, but there's actually a good explanation for it.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I agree.
It comes down to how you rank it next to other organizations that you feel comfortable participating in, and if you judge another organization for these values for these like faults, and you're being a hypocrite, then that means you need to look inward. I mean, that's the best you can do.
No, yeah, that's true. So
the next one is encourages only good and proper thoughts.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, dude. We have devotionals all the time about like how we need to keep our thoughts pure. All the time.
So for me, there was no like, okay, it's natural to have a thought like this. What does it mean? And blah, blah, blah. You shut it down.
By the way, not even like sexual thoughts. Like thoughts about like, damn, I wish I could just go play video games. Or like, that stuff like that.
I've heard, this never happened to me. But I read on Facebook the other day of a missionary whose mission president told him to stop looking at pictures of his family because of the thoughts of, like, missing home.
Okay, that's crazy. But also, some dudes on the mission were so depressed that I think sometimes it's like, if you're going to be here, bro, like, lock in. Yeah. Or just go home.
Yeah, yeah.
But that is crazy, though.
See, the thing is, though, like, there is no, at least... like. There are people who will accept you if you come home from your mission, but going home from your mission is so...
Oh, you're seen as scum.
Yeah.
Unless you were injured, which is very interesting to bring up because I know a lot of people on a personal level that injured themselves on purpose so they can go home, quote unquote, honorably, bro. Mm-hmm. And it's like, one guy gave himself a concussion. He kept banging his head on the table like during personal study so he could just give himself a concussion, which eventually he did. And he's like, oh, I guess I gotta go home. Severe concussion, bro. But that's insanity. That's like some Midsummer shit, dude.
Yeah.
That's like insanity. I know one dude that like jumped off a cliff so he could break both of his legs so he could go home. I know one dude that like would poison himself, like, on purpose, so he could, like, hospitalize himself and go home. I'm not going to name him. I know a ton. I know a ton of people that, like, would purposely injure them. Because if you just go home because you wanted to go home, dude, that's, like, bad. Yeah. That's, like, the worst thing you can do.
I lost my testimony 6 months before I came home honorably.
Yeah.
And didn't go home because...
Just for social ridicule.
How could I do that? Like, how could I survive what that would mean for me coming home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you happy you did that? Just because now, just in case somebody can judge you, be like, no, I finished.
Oh, yeah. No, that definitely,
Yeah.
I was like, if someone says, like, if I leave the church because I didn't work hard enough, like, you can't say that about at least my mission experience.
Hell no. Yeah, you finished.
But I'm also happy about it because it forced me... I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
But it forced me to really give the church a chance.
Mm-hmm.
So when people say like, "Oh, you're just lazy," I'm like, no, I stayed out on a mission for 6 months as a non-believer.
And people don't understand that missions are like, you're never not working.
Yeah.
Like, you're never not working. Even on Sundays, dude, we're supposed to be the day of Sabbath. Sometimes Sundays were the hardest we worked.
Yeah, that was
because we had to get the numbers before Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm going to give a brief schedule. People aren't even going to believe this. You wake up at 6 a.m. You have to exercise for an hour, 30 minutes. What was it? An hour?
We were
30 minutes.
30 minutes, yeah.
You study for like, I'm going to see how it is at the beginning of my mission. Because at the last year and a half, they implemented rules where it was like human. But at first, this is what it was when I first showed up the first 6 months. It was you wake up and you study till 10 a.m. You go out and you work. You have exactly 1 hour from like 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. to eat. And if you go over that hour, you are scum of the earth. Mm-hmm. Like, you are scum.
Even 1 minute.
1 minute. 1 second.
What's crazy
1
is
second.
At mission meetings,
yeah,
they aren't talking about, hey, it seems like people are going 15 minutes over for lunch.
Yeah.
That's not the case that they focus on.
Yeah.
They focus on the 1 second.
Yes. Exact obedience.
Yeah.
And then after that, after you have your 1 hour lunch, which if you have to cook a 1 hour lunch is insanely unrealistic.
Yeah. Especially if you're in like a country where there's not microwaves.
Yeah. I don't have a country with microwaves. And there were sometimes we would cook and we'd have like maybe a minute and a half to eat. We would just scarf it down and run out the door with like our shirt stained. It's like, anyways. And then from 2, depending on your mission, to 9, you're out there just walking around trying to get people to join the church, in a nutshell. Mm-hmm. And then you have to go to bed by 10. You have to. You have 1 hour. In that 1 hour, you have to plan for the next day.
Mm-hmm. Review the day you just had.
Review the day you just had. They changed this later in my mission, but at the beginning you have to plan, which it takes 30 minutes. And from 9:30 to 10, you have to get ready for the next morning. So that implies like brushing your teeth, going to the bathroom, which you haven't all day.
Because you're walking around.
Because you're walking around. And in our mission, there wasn't public bathrooms. So like that was the only time you could go to the bathroom. Eating dinner, which is you have to fit that. You have to fit like brushing your teeth, like changing, eating dinner in like 20 minutes. And then wake up and do it all over again. So like it's literally like where is the time there to like relax?
And you do this for 6 days a week. And then
6.5.
I was going to say the one day that you get a break is only for half the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It used to only be like 1/4 of the day. Because when I was my first 6 months, we only had like, we had to start working at like 3 p.m. And it was like, and we still had to fit in all the studies before that. So it was like you had like the morning to do what you wanted.
Mm-hmm. And this schedule isn't something that you aim at and hope to one day accomplish.
Yeah.
This is something that if you're not doing it perfectly, literally, and I mean perfectly.
Oh yes, to the T.
You could
get sent home.
It will be pointed out.
Yeah, that's important to say, because this wasn't like try your best to do this. It was like, no, you do this or you will be punished.
Yeah, this is the only option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I went on a tangent that was like a little too long, but like I think it's interesting. Some people don't understand like what the schedule is.
If for nothing else, one day you can look back and like have this clear of a memory.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Yeah. Keep going though.
Okay.
Dude, there's no time limit.
Okay.
We don't.
The last one under thought is thought-stopping techniques.
Thought-stopping techniques? Yeah, praying, reading, yeah.
Yeah, so I could give an example of this, like...
But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. But yeah, keep going, sorry.
I guess, once you like when I've heard examples of this, it's actually one of the worst ones.
Mm.
But I'm trying to think if anything comes off my head right now. Look up thought stopping techniques. I'll go over to the next one.
Yeah.
Emotion. So now under emotional, feeling chosen or special.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
For me growing up, one of the biggest reasons that I loved being a member of the church, and like I didn't realize this is why I loved being a member of the church, but this is something that I found a ton of meaning through, was feeling like I was foreordained to be a priesthood holder that is going to go help other people join the church.
Yeah. Thought stopping technique. Say stop out loud in your head and imagine a large red stop sign or billboard. Inhale and
Okay.
exhale. I don't know.
All right. Maybe one will come to my mind. But yeah, that's not what I was thinking of. But yeah, I'm feeling chosen or special.
Yeah. No, yeah. That's definitely.
Okay, there's 3 more. Then we'll be done with this.
Okay.
Guilt manipulation.
I would argue that's the worst one out of all those.
Yeah.
Like, that is the most...
It's the worst because it's the most
prominent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the most prominent one.
Emotional blocking techniques. I think we kind of talked about that.
Yes.
Like, you're not allowed to...
Miss your family. Mm-hmm. Not allowed to, like, start feeling attraction towards women.
Yep.
You have to be asexual. You're not allowed to even, like, form emotional bonds with women that much, or else it becomes inappropriate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually have a story about this. Mm-hmm. So, in the MTC, this is the worst president I had, was this guy. I had 6 mission presidents, and this guy was the worst. And he told us, like, he made it very clear there's supposed to be no association between elders and sisters in the MTC.
Yeah.
There's no reason to. Yeah. It's not like we're working in districts where we need to know how they're doing, like, in their areas. And I remember there was a missionary sitting behind me that was making the sisters in front of me laugh. Mm-hmm. And the mission president looked up and shook his head at me.
Like, you thought it was you?
He must have thought it was me, but I look at it as just like he just looked in the general direction of girls laughing.
Oh, and he's like, this dude.
And just like shake your... And the thing is, this is the type of guy that will shake his head at me because... maybe he did think it was me, but I could also see him, because he did stuff like this, shaking his head at me because I'm not turning around and telling that missionary to stop talking to the sisters.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was... What was that?
And also, it's so traumatizing how badly you want the approval of your mission president.
Yeah.
Like,
and
they get off on it, too. You can tell, man.
Oh, this guy?
Like I said, my second mission president, most humble, amazing guy ever. My first president, I'll say his name. I'll dox him. President Robertson.
Dox him.
You can tell he got off on, like, yeah, these kids want my approval so bad. Like... Not got off sexually, but got off, like, in a power, like...
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like, these kids are obsessed. Like, because we were kind of obsessed with him. Like, everything we would do was kind of to approve him. So we can have leadership positions, so we can... Borderline, we seeked his approval more than, like, God's at some point. I'm not speaking just for myself. I'm speaking as the culture.
Yeah.
It was like, we need to make sure President Robertson messes with you, or else you're never going to be a district leader or a zone leader. I don't know. And
even if you didn't care about the position, like, of becoming a leader in the mission, your identity relies on his approval just in general.
Yeah, because dude, yeah, that's true. Let me just say this real quick. If you were his favorite, you were like the most popular guy on the mission. Mm-hmm. You were like, oh, dude, President Robinson loves him. He's such a stud. Like,
well, and if your mission president approves of you, God approves of you.
Yeah.
So it's like
sounds like he's playing God almost.
I mean, that in the mission is one of the best. I mean, that is the way to know whether or not you are a good person.
Yeah.
Is if your mission president says that what you're doing is good or bad.
Yeah.
That's why it's so devastating when you break a mission rule, because if your president is a hardliner, which most are expected to be, if not are, like, and you mess up a little bit, and there's disapproval coming from your president, like, that means you're being a bad person. Mm-hmm. In God's eyes. Yeah. Because he was chosen to be the judge over your life. It's
like that. No man's word should hold that much merit.
If you take 2 extra minutes to brush your teeth after 10 o'clock.
Yeah, or if you let this old lady open up about how her husband died, and it may not have take 5 minutes more than the hour, I don't know.
All right, last one is phobia and indoctrination.
I mean, that's like every church.
Yeah, it's just like the idea
Yeah.
of hell in general.
Yeah.
All right,
No,
so that's called
That's interesting.
it's called the bite model. So
Those were all yes.
Yep.
Every single one was yes. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's crazy that like I don't know, like the like desire for missionaries to like have leadership was so important to some people. And I can honestly say, dude, like I never really cared that much. But I knew some people that really cared, dude. They were like the whole reason they became quote unquote a good missionary was so they can be like a zone leader. That was so crazy to me. Because it's like, dude, it almost was like high school popularity. It was almost like, bro, after this mission, none of this matters. Whether you're a zone leader, no one cares. It's like, but at the time it was like being popular in high school. It was like, I need to do it. I don't know. It was weird, dude.
to be honest, I did care about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was because I was looking for the the spiritual validation that I am a good person.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something I also struggle with now, is just feeling like I'm a shitty person all the time.
Yeah.
And so if there's somebody else that I can give that over to, like a mission president, if the mission president says I'm doing good, then I know I'm a good person. I don't have to worry about it.
Which you shouldn't base your opinion on yourself over some dude, some rich guy.
Yeah.
Some rich guy that probably like only likes a select few of people there. They'll never admit it, but they did like and dislike some people.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's like human
nature.
Mission presidents are humans too.
I would. Like, if I was a mission president, I would dislike.
You can't love 20 or 200 people equally.
No, hell no. It's like ridiculous to even think that's a possibility.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, I was, like you said, I was honestly terrified of like because I was so scared of like seeming disobedient, that I wouldn't even talk to the sisters like at all. I would just go the other way. I wouldn't even talk to them. And also, like, everything I say comes across as flirting because I'm naturally very banterful and like funny around them. So it's just like, it would just be flirting. So I would just stay away from them. Even when I was like in the end of my mission, when I was like the zone leader, I had to foresee a lot of sister missionaries. And dude, whenever I had to talk to them, I'd just give the phone to like my companion because I was terrified, bro, of even like giving off the idea of an image of like making them laugh inappropriately. I don't know. It was weird, bro.
Yeah.
It was weird, man, but here we are. Do you ever have nightmares of your mission?
You know what's weird is, and I think this is like my honest, I don't know what you would call it, but another thing that the mission or just the church in general ingrained in me is a tendency to, again, my brain is telling me this is going to be pretentious.
Yeah.
But
I think that's religious trauma, dude.
Dude, it might be.
That.
But
yeah,
it ingrained in me kind of a tendency to be optimistic about things.
Yeah.
And so when I have those dreams about going back on a mission, they usually happen as if I'm getting called to a new mission. Not like I'm going back to my original one.
Oh, it's like, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Mine's like, now you're going to France.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's how mine are too.
My brain is like, oh, this is going to be really hard, but I'm going to learn Spanish. Like, that's where my brain usually goes in those nightmares. But that doesn't mean, it is stressful and dreadful, but by the end of the dream, I'm like, oh, but,
dude,
just approach it with that, like, optimism.
I wake up so relieved from those dreams because, like, everything I said about the mission being positive was true, but it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Mm-hmm. It was the most trying thing I think I've ever been through. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Like, the hardest thing I've ever done. So when I wake up and I realize, oh, I'm not on a mission, it's amazing. It's like, because it is kind of like a nightmare. Like, I have dreams that I get called again to go serve in Russia or whatever. And I'm just like, I wake up and I'm like, thank goodness, dude. Mm-hmm. I do not want to do that again as a 27-year-old.
It's so crazy because, like, there is nothing more heart-wrenching than the months leading up to your mission, and then nothing worse than the day that you leave. Or, like, the night that you say goodbye to your friends and family.
That's terrifying. We should go over that a little bit. So mine, I had Hannah Nui over here. I'll say her name because I'm just going to say positive things about him.
About him?
About them. Okay. Her. And Callie was here. It was Callie, Hannah,
It was just them two. And we were over here, and I remember it was like the night before I left, because I already said goodbye to like my friends, like my group of friends. So I just came home, and then they just came over after. It was like 10 p.m. And I think I was already set apart at this point, because I remember we were crying and I couldn't hug them. So I was already set apart. Yeah, by the way, when you're set apart, you can't hug women.
Yep. Like, for me, when I left, I hadn't made my email list yet.
Yeah.
And I got set apart, and I was like, crap, I didn't make my email list. So I told my sister, I made my sister sit down at the computer and make it for me. As if making an email list is going to, like, you know, the devil's going to take over my soul.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. I just remember we were sitting there crying, and they were crying how much, like, we're going to miss each other, and, like, I couldn't even hug them. So I gave them, like, a weird side hug.
Damn,
I was like,
even that's not right.
That's not okay, but I was like, dude, I don't care. And I was also a teenager, so it's like, I'm not...
No.
And, like, and on the mission, I'll say this, I hugged plenty of women. Like, when an old lady, like, cooked for you and mothered you for 3 months, and she's crying that you're leaving because she loves you so much, I'm gonna hug that old lady.
Yeah, I hug that old lady,
I'm not gonna get sexually aroused. It's literally
you
like...
might, after 2 years.
I mean, shit. After 2 years. No, but it was, I was like, I'm gonna hug her, dude. Like, it's not human. It's not Christ-like to, like, no.
Yeah, I'm a robot.
I'm a robot.
I'm a robot of
screw
Jesus.
Screw that, dude. That's not Christ-like. Like, but anyways, yeah, that's how my night was. It was weird.
Speaking of Mormons, Aaron Rodgers is Mormon, right?
I don't know anything about him.
I think he is.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. The TV's on and Aaron Rodgers just came on the screen.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about sports, but if it's a Mormon in sports, I'll know about it.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, was there anything else about when you left?
No, that's it. It was just like weird. It's like weird that you can't even like, I don't know. Like, there's things that I grow to learn how weird they are after I like what's it called? Dude, my vocabulary is just not crazy today.
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. I was laughing at something I just
No. It's funny, dude. You can laugh at it. It's funny. Like, after what's the word, dude?
Deeply?
No, after you process.
Yeah.
Okay, after you process everything, I learned things that I did that are so weird that I don't know how on earth I wasn't like, what am I doing? It's like, what am I doing?
I had that too.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. Like, pretty much everything.
Yeah, dude. Like, not hugging, I don't know. Because at the beginning of my mission, I wouldn't hug people that were, like, sad I was leaving the area. People that, like, literally were parents to me. And then, like, I think, like, my third area, I was just like, dude, I'm hugging them.
Well, at first, too, like, I mean, there's no one around you saying it's weird.
Yeah.
So, like, with the email thing, I'm thinking back, I'm like, that is such a ridiculous
Oh, yeah, that is crazy.
thing. But everyone in my family was like, yep.
She's gonna have to do it for you.
And it was probably an honor for my sister. You know what I'm saying? Like,
she's like...
My brother can't do this, and I'm going to do it for him.
Yeah. Yeah, it was probably an honorable thing.
Yeah, like, you know, and I mean, she's just, like, the most helpful, like nicest girl ever. But, like, it was just funny that it added that much more honorability to...
That's crazy. And, like, you're such a, like, spiritual, like, giant that you have the willpower to do that.
To not put together an email list.
Because if you look at a girl's name, you might get horny. If you look at Kayla Johnson at google.com, you might get horny.
If I touch a mouse, I might accidentally open Pornhub.
You might touch your mouse.
Yeah, exactly.
Open Pornhub.
But dude, so I actually went on a mission twice because of COVID.
Oh yeah.
So I left on a mission twice.
Yeah.
So the first time I went, like...
That's crazy.
Honestly,
was that dreadful?
Oh, dude. I lived the nightmare.
Yeah, you lived it.
So
that's crazy.
When I'm talking about heart-wrenching, dude, it was the second time. Oh. So the first time, like, I knew I was leaving on a mission. Yeah. My whole life, it was something I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I was kind of the last friend to leave.
Yeah.
And so...
You're the youngest, or did you just wait?
I was just lazy, to be honest. Like, I was just lazy putting my papers in.
Yeah.
And so everyone left before me, and most of my friendships, like, for months and months and months, like, anybody who was home, I had been processing emotionally saying goodbye. You know what I'm saying? So I said goodbye to people. It was sad. Saying goodbye to my family was sad. But ultimately, like,
it was expected.
Yeah,
Because you were anticipating this your whole life.
Yeah,
From being like 12, dude. From the time you were 12, you're like, eventually this is gonna happen. So it wasn't like a shock. Yeah.
And it was also nice because everyone was already gone. So
Yeah, exactly.
like nothing to lose. The second time, everyone came home for whatever reason. Like the people who were closest to me, either were far enough in their mission that they didn't have enough time to go back out. Basically, if you had when COVID hit, when everyone got sent home from their missions, if you had 6 months or less, you stayed home. So a lot of my friends, most of my friends, ended up staying home. And then Coulter, who is my best friend and was like my only friend actually my age on the mission, had like medical issues that kept him home for good.
Yeah.
And so everyone I know was living the dream that you have on a mission, which is coming home early. That doesn't mean you want to come home early.
I was going to say, when I was there, bro, I honestly did not want to come home. Like, I was having such a good time, and I was so fulfilled that I was like, no, dude, I don't want to come home.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to get injured.
And that's the thing that I didn't want to come home ever either. Even when I lost my testimony, I didn't want to come home. But what I wanted was, I miss my friends. Like, all the time you're thinking about that night that everyone's home and you get to go to your favorite restaurant.
And you all just get a mob, just like in high school.
Yeah. So it's not something that you want to have right now necessarily, but it's what you are looking forward
It's what you're talking to their companions about. Your parents like, who are your friends? These are my friends. We did this.
Yep.
And it's like,
And you just sit back and like smile, and you love hearing about other missionaries.
Yeah.
Like,
and you want them to go home to their friends. Yeah, dude.
So it's not something you are like dying to do right now. You are dying to do it, but it's like, it's more that that's the payoff at the end.
Yeah.
You know? And so I got that 3 months into my mission.
Yeah.
Because I was only gone for 3 months and then COVID hit. Yeah. Came home. I got to pick up the relationship that I had pretty much ended because I thought I was going to be gone for 2 years. And, like, I don't know if you were dating anybody, but it was like, we know we can't...
Yes and no. Yeah. It's a long story.
You can't invest in a relationship because you're going on a mission.
Exactly, yeah.
So when I came home, it was like, just naturally, we picked things back up, and we became, like, super... our relationship really grew in that time. And then I had to leave, like, a second time. And it was a different enough experience that, like, I didn't have all those years of processing saying goodbye.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, who knows, maybe that's, like... 50% of missionaries actually, because a lot of kids go on missions, kind of, they decide, like, last second to go. Like, within a year of leaving, So, anyway. It was just awful. Like, I remember saying goodbye to all my friends and going up into my room and, like, punching my pillow and just crying my eyes out, like, screaming into my pillow, kind of out of anger.
Yeah.
But at the time, I believed, like, I wouldn't be able to be... Honestly, the reason I went the second time is because I did not think I would be able to be a good husband or father if I didn't go on a mission.
That's crazy.
So
but that's also what everyone believes.
Yeah.
So it's not that crazy of a thing to believe at the time. Yeah. That's one of those things on the list where we like, when you go back and you're like, what? This is a weird thing. How did I think this was okay? That's one of them. Like the fact that you guilted yourself enough to think you would be like a shitty man if you didn't.
Yeah, like I didn't even think about... Like, I hear people talk about how, girls won't like you if you don't go on a mission. I didn't really think about that sort of thing. It was just genuinely, I felt like I would be a shitty person. The thing is, like,
they did care the first year.
Yeah.
And then after, like, 2 or 3 years, you could honestly just lie and say you went on a mission, and they wouldn't know the difference.
Then you get married, then you have to pretend.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Also, that's a dumb reason to serve a mission. And I'm ashamed to admit that's a big reason I served a mission, because I'm like, I'm going to come back and find a wife. And I'm not going to find a wife if I'm not a return missionary. I don't know, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, dude, that's why people have dreams.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that is kind of shows it's traumatic.
Yeah.
That your brain has to think about it all the time and, like, is constantly subconsciously scared about it in your dreams for the rest of your life.
No, dude, it's crazy. Before we wrap up, bro, I want to start doing a segment
where, like, I do, like, quick fire questions at the end, and you just have to answer quick.
Okay.
I don't have any, but I want to do that.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think would be, like, cool, like, questions to ask people, like, or maybe, like, one question that they have to answer 5 different ways or something. I don't know, dude. We're just learning. This is, like, the rough draft of podcast. Like
Yeah.
these first like 10 episodes are just gonna be.
Those are like the hardest questions because like
Yeah.
the other questions, life is just so full of nuance that it requires 2 hours
Yeah.
to explore the answer to a question.
Yeah. Yeah, we could honestly we could have stayed on one subject for 2 hours, but I kind of wanted. I'm glad we touched like a lot, dude.
But I think that segment is fun. It just will take a lot of thought to get like the right.
We have to set like a timer because no tangents. You have
Yeah,
just,
yeah. But if you can figure out how to ask questions that elicit an interesting response in just a few words, then you're a really talented interviewer.
Okay.
So
I mean,
I think that would be a fun challenge, like as you do this.
I feel like I'm not a good interviewer, but I think I'm a good conversationist. But I can't interview. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
I don't know how to interview people. I guess I can learn.
Yeah.
But also, like, I'm not interviewing like President of the United States. I'm just interviewing my friends.
Yeah.
So it's like, or people I love, or people I like. I don't know. Okay, how about this? We'll end on this one, bro. This is from All the Smoke podcast I learned from NBA players. If you could have dinner with 5 people, dead or alive,
Oh yeah.
who would you have dinner with? 5 people, dead or alive. They don't need to be famous. They don't need to be not famous, and whatever. It doesn't matter.
I mean, off the bat, like I don't know if I really think this is an answer I'd want to give, but I have to say Joseph Smith.
Okay, that's dope. Also, I just figured out what I'm going to do on my segments.
What?
I'm going to do drafts. So I could be like,
Oh yeah.
5 people that you want to have dinner with, dead or alive. You go first, and I go first. And like, if I take one of the ones you're thinking, you can't say it.
Yeah, I
So it's
like
like a
that.
draft.
Yeah,
Should we
that's
do it
fine.
right now?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do
So
it.
Joseph Smith's my
Joseph
first
Smith
one.
is your first pick. It's a good pick.
He's had so much influence over my life.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's weird to think about.
Like I can say George Washington probably did. Jesus
Oh, dude.
Jesus did. Joseph Smith.
You could argue Joseph Smith has had more influence over your life than Jesus Christ.
I 100% think so.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, yeah.
2, I'd go Jesus, or my first pick, I'd go Jesus Christ. I'm
So
good with
you
it.
believe he was like because I think there was somebody probably named Jesus Christ that like went around. We're going on tangents. But
But regardless, moving on a little bit of tangent, but regardless of your opinion of him, I would still like to talk to him.
yeah.
Like, he's like the most recognized figure in the history of humanity.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be interesting to talk with someone like that. Yeah.
If Jesus is one guy, like truly one guy, I would definitely want Jesus too. I've just heard that like a lot of the Bible is just people attributing stories to him that kind of were just like
Different
floating
dudes?
around. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That'd be just interesting to talk about like another day.
Yeah, we
But that's
should.
interesting. We should. I mean, dude, I'm gonna have you on like several times. So.
Yeah. Dude, we haven't even.
Yeah.
We could go for.
Dude, I feel like we haven't even scratched the surface,
Yeah.
dude. But yeah, it was just
All right,
pick.
my second pick is probably. I want to choose somebody that had a direct influence over my family. Like I want to go back. Oh, my grandma Ruby, who died. Can I put these two together? My grandma Ruby and my grandpa Dick.
Yeah.
My grandpa Dick. Because they like a lot of the reason why my dad is the way he is because of like things that happened to them, and they both died before I was born. And there's so many questions that like.
Do you want to ask?
That
Yeah.
I don't-
You can
I
group
think-
them in as
yeah.
one. Yeah,
So those two.
that's interesting. Yeah, they're just like one. They're a one. Number 2, I would like to talk to my grandpa on my dad's side, because from the stories my dad tells me about him, I think he was a psychopath. Like I think he was like a man that provided for his family. He wasn't a deadbeat. He was present, but I think he was literally a psychopath. So I'd like to pick his brain.
I think the third person for me would be. That's crazy. I want to hear some of those stories later.
Bro, he gave my dad like $100, a gun, and the keys to his car, and said, "Leave for a month, and when you come back, you'll be a man." At 12. So
12?
He had to just like venture off and like just figure shit out with a gun, $100, which $100 back then is like $1,000, and like a bottle of tequila.
He gave him alcohol?
Yeah, he gave him a bottle of tequila, keys to his car, and $100. He's like, "Leave, don't come back for a month, figure it out."
Sounds kind of fun.
That sounds kind of cool, yeah. But also psycho to do that to a 12-year-old.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's other stuff too, but I can't share all of them. But yeah.
I think my third person would be someone like probably. Oh man, I'm trying to decide. I want to say Mr. Rogers, but I think like who he is online, like in his show, is probably just like who he would be in real life. Like
Yeah, it seems like a genuine.
yeah, like you could learn everything you need to know about just watching what he made.
Yeah.
So I think like to appeal to my childhood, I would love to have dinner with Rhett and Link.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
They're also a one. That would be sick, dude. Red and Link would be interesting. Because they've like, I feel like they've went through similar things you have, I guess.
If I had to choose between those two, I would say Rhett. Because
Rhett?
he talks a lot about like deconstruction and like leaving evangelicalism.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
Okay, can I go on like a 2-minute tangent real quick?
Yeah, bro.
I think they don't like each other.
Dude, I'm getting scared of that too.
I think they did at first. They were best friends, but I think
They're
they had
tired
a blow-up fight, and I think like, all right, from now on we're co-workers. Like, we're not friends. Because I see them, bro, in the past couple of videos I've seen, I'm like, bro, they don't seem like they like each other.
Dude, it's
weird.
They've
I think they're
actually-
hiding it. I think they're like obviously not showing the world, but
well, they've actually talked about it.
yeah.
Yeah, because I can't say like exactly when it happened, but I've heard them talk about how Rhett sees their job as like he associates their job with their friendship, and Link tries to separate the two.
Yeah.
So that shows up like for Link, it's like we need to hang out together outside of work, not talk about creativity or anything, and just enjoy each other's like friendship.
Yeah.
And Rhett is like, our friendship is our creativity and like this business.
Interesting.
And so it's like,
I could see why that'd be hard though.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I've noticed it too, dude. Like, it makes me sad too.
Yeah, you just look and you're like, dude, because like I used to watch the early videos and you could tell they genuinely loved each other.
Yeah.
And now it's like it seems like they don't mess with each other.
They're just tired. Like, look, they look tired.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird.
They're old. I mean, they've been doing YouTube for. Most people burn out doing content creation after like 3 years.
Yeah, dude, they've been doing like a decade.
Yeah.
Over a decade.
Yeah, like 20 years.
It's interesting. I could talk about that for a while because I grew up on them too.
Yeah.
3.
I would probably pick. I'd pick Kendrick Lamar
Oh, that'd be cool.
because
That'd be cool.
that'd be cool. I think he's like the greatest musician that's ever lived, in my opinion, from my objective. And I just want to pick his brain, like his brain musically, his brain like I don't know, just like talk to him.
I thought you were gonna say from your. I thought you were gonna say from my objective point of view. Like your.
Like what?
Like your point of view is the objective
Oh,
point of view.
yeah, like my objective point of view, and if you're wrong, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
If you disagree with me, you are an idiot.
No, that would be a cool one.
Yeah.
My fourth would probably be. I want to go back for this one. Like, I don't know. I can't think of anybody from very far back.
Yeah.
Honestly, Donald Trump or Obama.
Oh, or either one.
Yeah,
Just the president.
yeah. But those two like defined modern politics. I think honestly,
Yeah.
probably Donald Trump is going to be I think he's defined politics more than Obama at this point.
Yeah.
Modern politics,
Yeah. I agree.
and will have defined politics more than Obama did
Yeah.
in the next 30 years.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
My fourth person.
Yeah, I want to meet with him because of his effect, not because I think he's.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
That goes without saying.
I don't know if people would know that.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify.
You don't
I
idolize Donald Trump.
No, I don't like Donald Trump.
Yeah.
But like,
No,
I would love to.
It'd be interesting to have some people there you disagree with.
Yeah.
It'd be very interesting.
Yeah.
My fourth person.
I don't know why, but I'd love to have Steve Irwin on there.
The like.
But I'm not
crocodile
gonna.
guy?
I'm not gonna pick him. I just
Yeah, that's
honorable
fine.
mention.
No, if you do, that's cool.
No, honorable mention. I don't want him there.
Okay, I like that.
Screw. I mean,
Screw him.
screw him. No, I love him. I grew up on him. I think I would have. Oh man. I think I would have Coach Bollinger there, Mr. Bollinger.
From Fremont?
Yeah.
Who's that? I didn't have him when I was there.
Oh, you didn't have him?
I don't think he was there when
He
I
was
was
my
there.
basketball coach at Fremont.
Hmm.
And I want to talk to him as like an adult because I want to talk basketball. Then I want to talk about like what he saw on the team. I might just do that in real life because I can.
Dude, get him on the podcast.
I'm actually planning on it. I'm planning on getting Coach Bull on the podcast. But yeah, he'd probably be my fourth.
I think my last one would be, I don't know. Like, there's so many people floating around my head. Like, I want to go to someone I just know that, like, I have a casual. Like,
And this doesn't have to be definitive. This answer could change tomorrow. This is just like the first people that come to your head.
first people come to my head. I'm doing like pairs. My parents.
Yeah, you're in pairs.
And I don't even really like hanging out with my parents. I don't even really.
But you could, bro.
Yeah, I just know that that's something I would never regret is going to dinner with my parents.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting.
Ooh. No, never mind.
Say it.
I'll do it after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah. I know you're good. Okay, I think I do. Well, anyways, I'm my fifth person. That'd be tough. I think I would pick. I want to say like Russell M. Nelson,
Yeah.
but also I feel like all my questions I would ask him I already know the answer to, so I'm not gonna say him. And instead, I'm going to say Theo Von.
Theo Von.
Yeah. Because I think he's like the funniest person in the world.
Yeah.
I love Theo Von.
Is this, are these scenarios assuming that they're going to be genuine with you? Or are they going to be like...
Oh, yeah. No, these are scenarios where, like, they are your best friend. Like, they open up to you.
Yeah.
They tell you everything.
Then,
or else, like, realistically, I'd pick, like, people I know.
Yeah. I was going to say...
Yeah.
Going to dinner with Trump, I like...
You wouldn't give a shit. You wouldn't care about you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, same. It's like, Kendrick Lamar probably wouldn't want to talk to me. But it's like, in this scenario, you're out to dinner and they're your friend. Like, they're like, you know.
I think Kendrick Lamar would love talking to you.
Thanks, dude.
Anyways, yeah, I think that does it. Do you have anything else you want
I
to
do
say?
have one final thought.
Yes.
That this is why I love... like, I've done one other podcast, and it was my own with Coulter.
Yeah, and you did how many episodes?
One episode.
One episode.
But I like it because it forces you to get into a good rhythm in the conversation.
Yeah.
Because like when we started out, like how many hours have we spent talking?
Dude, a lot.
And
like off pod.
Yeah. But I feel like when we started it out, we were trying to find a place. You know what I'm saying?
Trying to
Like,
find something interesting to like walk in.
And we at least I really enjoyed where we landed, and it was so just natural after a while.
Me too. I think that's because we're not gauging how to talk to each other because we've talked to each other a million times. We're gauging like how to make it interesting to other people.
And isn't it interesting that once we fell into our own rhythm, whether or not someone's listening, I think that's when it will also get interesting for other people because we're just being authentic.
That's what I'm saying. I want this pod to just be like, whatever happens. Like, I want it to be like lighthearted kind of, but also like insightful. I don't think I'm like a philosopher, but like, I don't know. Yeah. It's just fun to like think about things, dude.
Yeah. All that to say, I really enjoyed this conversation, and I'm excited for the next time we do it.
Yeah, bro. I'm gonna have you on ASAP. Like, you're probably gonna be a reoccurring guest on this pod.
I'll come anytime.
Yeah. All right. Deuces.